shining like a beacon of bright stars. I was alive for wandering far until I found a lighthouse guiding me out the when I'm scared, I send a flare and you're here in a flash. When I ask, oh dear love, where did we come from? You say that like the sun. I had the will and mission, but the wrong position. I was open, praying for a sign until I found a lighthouse in your heart, shining like a beacon of bright stars. I was alive for wandering far until I found a lighthouse guiding me out the dark. You guided me out the dark.
Welcome to the Elysium.
Digital sky tonight, screens burning bright, two sides align, time to shine. Ready or not, can't stop the clock, fingers on keys, destiny. In the zone, no way home, till it's done, victory won. Rising higher and higher, system overload, powers.
I'm looking for the steal.
Set does the ulti. Also going to try to distract. They're going to try to give it all the steal. Unleashed. Oh, Blue will take it. But then it will be the cost of Narsla instrument will fall. Onset is going to get one. Try and chuck the Alice.
How did that miss? Charm?
Just keep cutting back. Cut back.
Already we can. Go
Here's our stack.
Middle. Behind you, Gimpton.
Oh, he was gonna die anyway.
Oh,
Penta.
Penta? Wait.
Do I steal these?
Oh my god.
Penta!
Oh,
Let's go.
And now this Syndra is a little bit overextended, gets CC'd, gets taken down
Mike trying to get back on towards the fountain. The Crescent Guard is going to fall off, and the Jin Shao will fall immediately afterwards. Squigs, the last surviving member, besides Salamander, that is, as the Fiora returns to the fight, but everybody else on the Outlaws is already in the dirt. A triple kill for Chaser to close this one out, and it will be the 2-0 for the Choco Pancakes.
I mean, I think this is even more one-sided than Game 1, and this is a worse team comp. So, this is... the only person to die on the side of Phoenix is Karma, right? Storm has... and still has is still positive with the 4 seconds. So, I think they're just going to try to push waves, maybe get a turret and then back off to get the to get Hextech Soul at that. Actually, but as soon as I say that, 3-9 knockout from the Alistar... Volibear comes in, doesn't gonna do much. The Mel is just melting them. Here comes the Nocturne Ultimate trying to do anything, but here comes Blacksteel, isn't gonna do much. Zanya's out actually from the Morgana, so it's not gonna do much. Here comes the flash in from the Mel, gets the kill here, and I think this is this game. I think, yeah, that's an ace. Go for the Quadra, but is the Penta available? I think they're gonna go for it. Xin Zhao is there. Are they going to? All Philly has to do is hit a single Q, and Jinx is going to get the kill here. Flash in from it. Is this going to be a pentakill already in Game 1 here? Is it? Pentakill in Game 1 for Phoenix, and that's the second pentakill of Crusader.
Look at Jinx, look at Jinx, look at Jinx.
This is on me.
I'm killing the Jinx, I'm killing the Jinx. Okay, Jinx is dead. I'm looking at Rel. I can only kill Rel.
Aatrox CP behind. I'm walking, I'll be there in 10.
Pushing away Aatrox. Oh no, I couldn't push away Aatrox. Okay, there you go. Hold on, I'm trying to kite kind of hard.
I got back up for Kale. Kale's here.
Okay.
Kill, just like Kale do it. Just like Kale do it.
Come here, come. Okay.
You're good.
Oh my
god.
Wow, that ain't
okay.
Take the crown right now.
Ooh, nice slows.
With a 700 gold shutdown, he's worth a lot of money if you can find it. Freshburger gets caught by the cask.
Ooh, yeah, the Mordekaiser's going to be forced to use the Death Realm quite early here. It does have the Vel'Koz trapped in there trying to take down Zelda Guy. The passive is going to get the drop done. That's a maxed out shutdown, in fact, for Freshburger. And now Clay is in the Cataclysm, but who's trapped in there with who? As that's going to be the Varus gets taken down by Chinese Spy, and now it's only Noxus and Rutenio.
Here, but there's no... Vey is still dead.
This is really risky. I don't know if we're working teleport in because the counter teleport is pretty hard. Mike is coming in. Boom.
Well, great
we're not ult. It's massive. Zanya's is good though. Rakan trying to stall out. If
you
Kaisa
have to go
can
Striker.
Live, it's so big. Striker is still alive, but versus 4 people, there's no way that works. They get the soul. They have 4 people to 1. This series is absolutely... Meanwhile, Xin Zhao is jumped on. Bard ult also prevents a lot of damage. And now...
Watch Resilient though. Resilient's doing damage.
I just don't think Onset can do much right now. Badger looking for an ultimate. Nice double stun. God's Glory also looking for Badger. Will go down. Can't even finish the ultimate on Resilient, which would have been massive. Onset just can't carry this by himself. His 420 is down. Onset is just trying his best, but his team is falling around him, as he will also go down after at least killing the Kale. But that will be an ace, and they have the opportunity for Clown Gaming to either go for turrets or go for souls. Yet though, just looking for the tower. The ultimate finds Cosma. Flash out from Rain is just too late every single time. Cassiopeia does find a lot of people, but all it will do is delay the inevitable, as everyone from Bloom falls except for Banana Man. And I believe that we are going to see the closeout of the 3-0 series for Elysium.
Won't back down. We're taking the crown. This is a moment now.
Hello, my dear LXC enjoyers. Welcome to the Winter Split Crusader Division Finals. Both of your finalists in this one dominated their respective semis, and as they look across the rift at one another, I can only imagine that they're thinking that there's no other opponent more worthy of this final fight. Your first finalist starting on the blue side for this game number one, the Elysium, Chocolate Pancakes. In the top lane, Naysayer. In the jungle, Duddy Brains. In the mid lane, Watercat. At 80, carry Chaser. And at the support position, we have Haya. On the other side, your red side team for this first game of the finals, we have Clown Gaming Blood Moon. In the top lane, Super Saiyan. In the jungle, God's Glory. At mid lane, we have Humor, the AD carry for tonight, Resilient, and the Clown support. You know him, it's the kid.
Yeah, this is going to be a
My name is
great.
Crewman44. Joining me for the cast, we have Mr. Launches. Mr. Launches, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good here. Again, like you said, this is a very these two teams have been very dominant during the playoffs here. Not only that, they actually have been undefeated in the playoffs, going 6-0 respectively into this final game. So, with that being said, one team is gonna have to drop, right? We do have Clown starting on that blue side here, which does mean that again they're gonna get that first. They're gonna get that first pick. Really gonna see what they want to be prioritizing. Now I do know, of course, that Nefiri is off the table. I think that if you look at a lot of other leagues, Nefiri has been dominating the league, mostly being banned in almost every single game because who wants to play with a champion that can just go untargetable every couple seconds? It's pretty brutal. So we won't be seeing that Nefiri on the Rift, which just means these players are going to have to be seeing what do they want to do. We did see like the Gwen nerfs have come out, but she's still pretty strong. We just had that new patch, of course, come out yesterday. I've not been able to read it, so I don't know any of the really big changes that has come about, but I still think that the patch itself and the champions we'll see should still be around as we did before.
Yeah, this I thought there were some reasonably big changes in this patch. They took a little bit of a swing at Yorick Jungle. That's something that, I don't really know if too many people were playing it, but it definitely was very strong. So that's been tapped down a little bit. They gave a little bit of a buff over to Blitzcrank actually. His passive is a bigger shield and his Q does more damage. There's a few changes. Wei got some buffs as well. Oh, wow. Yeah, we are done with the first phase of bans already here. Xin Zhao on the first pick.
Yeah, again, we can see kind of that Sivir, Ivor, and Poppy. You really don't want that long range poke that you get from Sivir and kind of the consistent damage that she does output later in the game. So of course, wanting to get her and of course the rest of those out on the red side, you do have that Swain, Jinx, and Gwen ban. Like I said, the Gwen probably gonna be banned. It's just really strong right now. But the Xin Zhao first pick, Xin Zhao's just been really strong in the meta. If you watch any pro play, Xin Zhao I think has become that new Jarvan pick where we used to see Jarvan almost every single game, or maybe the Lee Sin. Xin Zhao's kind of becoming that new premium AD jungler here, really allowing for that AP mid lane to come out. But that response is of that Maokai Corki. Again, it's a really good flex pick. Again, the Maokai can go jungle, can go mid, can go jungle, top, support. You really don't know where it can go. And the Corki, of course, can go mid and AD or ADC. So there's a lot of places it can go. But the response is a Caitlyn Cho'Gath.
Yeah, definitely. So some pretty strong picks I think being locked away already. Definitely a lot of lane priority for the side of the Clowns. They've drafted a very strong early game for themselves already with the Caitlyn and Jin Zhao. So it'll be interesting to see if that continues with the second phase as well. Syndra, another champion that got touched a little bit on this patch. The changes were to reduce the base damages of her abilities, but they increased the AP ratios. So she's a little bit more bursty now. She does go for more of a high DPS build, or high damage build, I guess I should say.
Mm-hmm. Now, because of that, I will be expecting that this Maokai is not going to be jungle just because of that AD AP synergy that you really do want in that case. So, most likely that Maokai is going to be either top or support. Again, still good flexes that you do have available. But of course, you do see the bans come out for that set. And Mordekaiser really trying to stop Mordekaiser and Set really stopping the snowballing that top lane can have. While on the other side, you do have again another two top lane bans of that Camille and Kale, kind of those late game really bursty champions that you can. Or I guess you can say Kale maybe is a little more burst here, but really does pinch out the top lane. But it looks like because of that Thresh pick, Maokai is assuming, I would suggest it to go top lane again. So Clown's gonna have to really have a response here. They already have a Cho'Gath being picked though, but there were two top laners banned here by Chocolate Pancakes. So I'm a little confused. Maybe they think that Cho'Gath is gonna go mid or support, which it's not been doing the best, but it is a option. But the
Yeah.
Blitzcrank is just gonna be locked in for Clown here.
There is that Blitzcrank that I called out a minute ago. It is, of course, a pretty classic counter to the Thresh as well, right? The fact that Thresh roots himself when he goes for his hook means that Blitzcrank can just respond with his own hook on a stationary target, so that can work pretty nicely. I do feel like it's pretty threatening alongside Caitlyn down there as well. Aurora then going to get picked up on the B5 for Clown Gaming. Definitely feels like a pretty strong option.
Yeah, that just kind of makes it so that you do have most likely Cho'Gath top lane, Aurora mid lane. So those two Camille Kale bans weren't as detrimental to the side of Clown as Chocolate might have wanted here. But with that, we're going to see what Chocolate wants to pick. We could see something like what top laners do you actually know what junglers do you really want here? Maybe a Jarvan pick up here, but no, they're gonna go for Ornn. I am not the biggest fan of this because now you're putting Maokai jungle, and again, the thing is now you have a triple topside magic damage team, and that's not going to be very good for your damage, especially if Cho'Gath starts building MR here. You're really only 80 damage is that Corki, so as long as Cho'Gath can have the MR, of course has the health stacking, gets that heart steal pretty early on, but maybe Blitzcrank grabs Mortal Reminder or maybe some MR item like Hollow Radiance or something like that that can kind of stop the Maokai, the Syndra, the Ornn damage. It's all up to the Corki to do any damage this game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely true. Corki is going to be the main damage threat here. It does make it a little bit weird that they would go for the Ornn, I think, on the R5 slot. Just because it doesn't really feel like you're getting that much value from having such a big front line. Although the Ornn does also offer another form of engage, so that can be valuable as well. They kind of were missing some really solid engage. You know, Syndra can fish with scatters, right? You can throw a Maokai ultimate in people's general direction, but I do think that is something, at least, that the Ornn does bring to the table, but it's never going to feel amazing, I think, launches, to see a tanky boy like the Ornn in that R5 counterpick slot.
I mean, they assume that, hey, we don't think that maybe the Maokai is going to get tanky enough, so we want another tank. You want that kind of late game bonus that you get from the items that Ornn, of course, Ornn can upgrade. So that's my assumption as to why they are going for that Ornn. But again, this team comp isn't going to be the best. Now the thing is, on the side of Clown, I mean, it's not a really bad team fight, or not really. It's not really a team fight. It's more of a poke comp, right, or a pick comp, I should say. Really, you want to be able to knock someone up with that Cho'Gath, pull them in with the Blitzcrank, then delete them with the Xin Zhao, Caitlyn, Aurora damage that can come out pretty quickly here. So I think that Clown really do want to have that kind of poke and the pick comp as compared to team fights. Because I think in team fights, I think that Chocolate, even though they don't have maybe the best synergy, they still have a better team fight comp than Clown does.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's definitely a reasonable to say. I think it's going to depend on how they're able to play it out, because I mean, honestly, there's just more damage on the side of Clown. I think that's the main difference between these compositions, right? You know, I definitely hear what you're saying, where you've got like Blitzcrank and Caitlyn and like Aurora and Cho'Gath can be good in the side lane. So like they've got a lot of tools to look for picks, but I definitely think this composition can team fight as well. They do just have a lot of damage, particularly from the Aurora and from that Caitlyn, and even from the Jin Zhao as well. So I do feel like Clown are probably going to have a lot of options in terms of how they want to play out this game. I expect them to kind of dictate the pace with this composition.
Yeah. But with that, we're going to throw it to a break, and we will be back for game one, the finals.
Before we throw it to a break, launches, which composition do you prefer overall? If you were going to bet some channel points on this game, Which draft do you prefer?
Oh, I'm gonna go with Clown here. I think
Okay.
they just have the better comp.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now let's get into that break. We'll be right back.
Just break my heart. What do you feel? Chasing the feelings from ghosts in the sky. I hope they don't mind. I need you near. Something to hold someone I can call mine. Please don't break my heart. Just break my heart.
All right, everybody, welcome to game number 1. I messed up a little bit in my intro. It is, in fact, Clown Gaming, obviously on the blue side here for this first one, and the Chocolate Pancakes turning off on red. We've got the kid looking for the hook, but probably just going to find a ward.
Yeah, ooh.
A couple of
2 wards there. Little good gold there for whoever pinged it, but that just means that there are, of course, going to be wards on the opposite side of the map. We'll be having wards on those raptors here, so we'll know where the Zinzao does eventually start here. But, I mean, with those wards, I do think that they did spot out the Maokai, so I think they'll know that he's going to be starting that. Is that red buff? Yeah, it's red buff. Switch sides, always sometimes weird.
Yeah, they are going to spot him out pretty early there with the Raptor ward. But of course, the ward did go down from the side of the Pancakes as well. They did get their own little chicken ward situated. So, gonna be some information for both sides. But as we can see, both junglers are gonna be pathing down as we got the face check into the bush. It's Flay start for Haya. Does get pulled in, but Kid losing a lot of health already. The crank down to 50%. And Resilient is able to get a good amount of return damage out there. Good chunk onto Haya as well. But everybody gonna be going through their potions already in that bottom lane. No summoners used though.
Yeah. But with that, I mean, you really did trade your support's health for the enemy AD. So I think if you are resilient, you're not feeling too bad here. Yeah, you've now been poked down a little bit, but at least you made them use their pot here. So not going to feel too bad. And they do have to really be careful of those, of course, long-range hit that Caitlyn has, but also of the hooks that Blitz can just come out of nowhere with and pretty quickly get a kill, especially with the Caitlyn trap right on top of her.
Yeah, definitely. We expect Caitlyn Crank to be the stronger lane, right? There is one of those hooks. Haya in a lot of trouble. Is going to have to flash away. Ignite used there by the Kid. The Thresh now all out of potions and down flash. Haya going to have to be really careful it doesn't get hit by any more of those.
Yeah, now the thing is, it's probably going to be a really quick back for Haya. I don't really think that you want to be staying in this lane a little or just too long because, of course, that can happen to the. You might be trying to block or you might try to be moving out of the way, but it could actually be going to Corki and you dodge and your ADC dies for it. So.
Oh, it's another hook onto Haya. He's just dead. Oh, but the Maokai is here. It's going to be a kill back over to the Corki. And now Resilient in a 1v2. The Caitlyn is strong early, but not that strong. It's going to be the flash into the death. A double kill over to Chaser. And the Chocolate Pancakes turn things around in the bot lane.
Yeah, that was a really unfortunate play there by Resilient. I think they had the upper hand, but because they didn't know where Maokai was, don't actually have the ward there. They assume, hey, we're fine. We can just go for it. They, of course, pay the price 2 for 1. Of course, Corki is just going to be a little higher in gold, or higher a little bit more gold here in the lane. Does get the tier, does get the boots as well. So, going to be feeling pretty well in this early game. Of course, yes, you are kind of pretty short range for Corki against Caitlyn, so you will be constantly pressured out, but those 2 kills are definitely going to help you later into this game and try to keep up in this lane.
Yeah, really important as well. As, we were talking about with this composition. It's nice from Super Saiyan there, just to hop into between the worlds. As Haya is in trouble once again, gets knocked up, pulled back in. Resilient secures his second of the game.
Yeah, that definitely helps the Caitlyn right there, and I think that definitely evens out the lane just because you do have 2 kills now and, of course, the CS lead here, but it looks like Super Saiyan is going to have to be a little careful there against that Ornn, because even though he's a tank, he can still do quite a lot of damage with that brittle.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Watercat has been doing a pretty good job in this lane so far. It's Humor. I'm so surprised that this Cho'Gath didn't just go into the top lane. You could have had a free lane against the Ornn. You could have let Super Saiyan deal with this Syndra, but now Humor is just like eating all of these skill shots. It's a little bit painful. There's another one.
I mean, maybe they're just wanting the Aurora to get ahead earlier, and they're not as afraid of Syndra being a little fed, or maybe the Cho'Gath being a little behind, just because you do, of course, have the ultimate, which is % max health. So could be something related to that, as to that maybe that's why they want to have Cho'Gath mid lane, or the rotations that Cho'Gath can have. But again, yeah, I do think that Cho'Gath definitely should have gone top lane. It just would have been a little better on the matchups, but they have a plan, but we'll just have to see if they're able to execute it.
We did see a few members of the Clowns hovering around the mid lane there. Watercat choosing a good time to back off. Not overextending, allowing himself to get punished there by the roaming robot. Now the Kid just going to return to the bottom lane. Things have obviously evened up quite a bit down there. It's interesting to see that Chaser went for the tier early, so really just opting for more of a scaling approach in terms of the itemization and not really looking to contest in the 2v2 despite picking up those couple of early kills.
I think it's mostly because of the range that Caitlyn has. Corki's not able to actually walk up and get some of these auto attacks, so really having to deal with the phosphorus bomb here as your pretty much only damage, or long range damage and CS secure, I guess. So because of that, really hoping that with that tier, you're able to have that a little extra mana, be able to hit as many bombs as he can to get just any last bit of CS that he can away from this Caitlyn. And currently is actually doing pretty well, being actually up 4 CS, but has lost 2 plates though. So gold is still on the side of resilience.
Yeah, definitely. We do have our neutrals on the map. They're going to get... Ooh, nice hook landing from the Thresh, but the Root coming out there. I think maybe he was on a trap at that same moment, so he couldn't, like, flay the Caitlyn further in. Looked a little bit weird, but we are going to see these early neutrals traded off. It's going to be the first round of Grubs over to the Clowns, and first Dragon for the Pancakes.
And we always see this trade very often here. Why fight too early? Don't want to give up the game just yet. Just going to kind of sit back and say, you know what? We'll trade this. We'll probably trade the Grubs and Dragon again for the second one. Maybe go 3-3, depending on what team and depending if Clown really wants those Grubs. They could contest for that 6-0 for Grubs here. But I mean, you have an Aurora and Cho'Gath. It's maybe not the best idea to try to go for it. You don't really have a team that really wants those Grubs, and I think Dragon stacking here definitely is going to be your best bet.
Another move towards the mid lane. It's Watercat going to get audaciously charged. That splashes out of the Ruptured. Oh, the kid! The kid, you got to hit those!
That was a prediction, but just didn't predict it right. Thought that maybe Cinder was going to move bot lane. I almost want to question, did the kid actually know that the flash happened? Because it almost looked like he was trying to predict the flash after the flash. That's the thing.
It happened right in front of him. He's going to find a knock-up. Humor is going to eat all of those Cinder Balls. Barely survives. That hook is going to land in the flash in for Glory, and that is going to be the case. God's Glory will find Glory here in the mid lane as he takes down Watercat.
I just got jump scared by the feet because that was a very weird font I just saw there. I don't know if that's something new that just came out because I don't remember it looking like that font there. But with that, of course, that is feats going over to Clown Gaming, getting that first proc. And I mean, they're probably going to get it because, of course, you see bot lane. Caitlyn's kind of destroying that turret here. Okay, and already has 2 plates. Probably will get even more. The only reason she hasn't been able to get more is just because Blitz has just been rotating that mid lane, trying to get the kills over to their side, the Xin Zhao and everything like that. So, I mean, it was really good play, but why are... I keep seeing these Cho'Gath mid lanes go Bando Glass Mirror. I don't understand why, though.
Yeah, the tech was Shirelia's into Deadman's, and you just like optimize for move speed. It's kind of like the Darius build that was being played a lot for a minute there. Just people realize.
I don't understand it though. Why?
Yeah, I mean it's the main weakness of those sorts of champions, right? Of the Darius and of the Cho'Gath is your targets that you're trying to get on just end up kiting you out. So if you just have the fast, then that mitigates one of the main weaknesses of the champion. But it does obviously also mean that you're not necessarily accentuating the strengths. Like when you go with this Shirelia's first Cho'Gath build, then obviously it doesn't have as much AP. You're not going to be as tanky. So there's definitely trade-offs. I think that's what you were getting at.
Yeah, because I mean, looking at this team cup, I would have definitely suggested a Heartsteel first item. At least if it was normal Cho'Gath, just because you have an Ornn you can constantly hit. You'll have a Maokai that keeps jumping in, constantly hit. Same with the Thresh here. So you have people who you can constantly proc the Heartsteel with. But with being mid lane Cho'Gath, a lot of different tech here, and gonna be definitely weaker than a top lane Cho'Gath could be in this situation.
Yeah, I think with this composition, then yeah, I'm with you. I think I probably would have liked to see a tankier build, as you're kind of going to be the main front line with all of these sort of relatively squishy champions around you on the side of the Clowns. So, we'll have to see if that does end up becoming an issue for them or not. As you kind of said it yourself during our draft discussion, the fact that they're probably going to look to make these fights pretty chaotic, right? Not necessarily going to be looking to play like a front to back or anything like that. So we'll have to see how that does go.
As you can see, the benefit of Caitlyn being long range, you pretty much clear wave. Oh, great dodge of the upgraded Corki ult as well. Not getting too much damage on the Caitlyn.
It's a 3-man.
Just sits there, but
Brazilian gonna get it. Oh, look at that damage.
Oh,
This is one item Caitlyn that flashes forward looking for it. The flash away from Duddy Brains is barely gonna get the Maokai out of there, as that is one scary lady with a sniper rifle. My word.
yep. And that was also that was the flash release, got something back, and that's with the ult as well. So that just means the drag that is up in, what is it, a minute, 32, 30 seconds right there. That just means that the Maokai won't be up for it and be.
Oh, that's a hook onto the crank, and the kid's gonna flash away, finds the return hook onto Chaser, but the Quirky's just gonna valk forward and says, "Thank you very much for pulling me in." Secures that kill onto the robot, and the Resilient is not going to be able to answer. 3-3 now on the board.
Was going to say that, look, you can now take Dragon pretty easily there, but because of that, I don't think they're going to be able to get to drag in time. Duddy is just going to take the drag here, and I think, to be honest, start setting up for the grubs, because that's your best bet. I don't think you're going to be able to take this easily.
Oh, that's wind does become lightning, but Watercat underneath the turret is going to be totally all right. Unfortunately, for the side of the Clowns, they already took the grubs. Actually, their launches, so...
Well, they did. I'm just blind. Whoopsie.
Yeah, they do have 6 grubs already, which is going to make the fact that they're losing the second dragon a little bit more palatable. But still, you know, I think we all know by this point that if it's a trade between 6 grubs and 2 dragons, 2 dragons is better.
Yeah, because now, of course, you're already setting up for that. Next drag is already soul point for you, and I think this is going to be... Yeah, it's Hextech Soul, especially with a Corki and Syndra. You really do want that on your team here. But I mean, in response, this bot turret's almost gone already.
And that is what you get for the 6 grubs, right? So it's not like the side of the Clowns are ready to panic just yet. You know, they're doing all right in this one. They're up about 1.5k. And they should be in a good spot, assuming they don't get caught out again, as Watercat is going to have to flash away. They're in the mid lane, so that's flash down for the Syndra. That is a big deal. And now the kid moving in, finds the knock up, and there it is. It can't miss those. That's going to be a dead Watercat in the mid lane, but Super Slayin is going to get traded back, and Humor is going to go down as well, so it ends up being a 1-for-1, and a 2-man play from Naysayer and Duddy. Find a kill on the top side. Hook's going to land from the kid. Finds Thresh. I got pulled in. Is going to have to flash back over the wall to get away, but that, in the end, was a good couple of looks from the side of the Pancakes.
Yeah, able to get that top lane kill there. You just saw how much CC that can be layered on, right? Naysayer can just have that knock up, then have the ult. Of course, you have the Maokai ultimate comes out as well, then the root and the pushback. So there's just so much CC potential that the side of Pancakes does have. But it's going to be interesting to see, can they continue that? Because they can do it onto one, but can they do it onto multiple? But with that turret being taken bot lane by the Caitlyn here, that is going to be those new shiny shoes for the side of Clown. And they do, of course, have that gold advantage now that really evens it up, as there is, of course, a Ornn on the other side.
Some extra speed, though, for our speed demon Cho'Gath. So that's very exciting. We do have Resilient has moved up into this top lane now. Has his sights set on another turret. Very nice Bellow's Breath there from Naysayer to immune the hook. That was very well timed. And now we do have some reinforcements coming up for the Pancakes, and they're going to get spotted out. Resilient and Kid going to back away.
To be just a little fighting in the bot lane here. The mid laners are just going at it. And Humor has been missing a lot of these Qs. Really need to be hitting them to be able to do any damage to the Syndra. But gonna be a little careful. I think that was a -1. I don't think that I did see little plus 63 there. So unfortunately for Caitlyn, it's a -1. But
there's scatter. Humor, there's the power going to get unleashed, and is going to barely survive once again. Doesn't quite have the teleport available right now, though, so that is a little bit awkward for the Cho'Gath. But I gotta say, despite the fact that Humor is really taking a beating in that lane, I feel like he's actually relatively okay, as we've got to play in the top side. Naysayer, not able to call upon the Forge God, and is, you know, at the very least, going to be able to clear out the minion wave, so the play from the Clowns will fizzle.
But I mean, with that, it was a great play actually by the kid, just because seeing that the Ornn ult was coming down, just going to hook the orange so that if he does get hooked, if he doesn't hit the Bella's breast in time, he's able to, you know, pull him back in, not be able to hit the ultimate. But if he does hit the Bella's breath in time, he's now unstoppable, but can't actually move, so he's not going to be able to hit the ult back for the R2. So really good play there, and because of that, they get the Rift Herald.
They certainly do. And we do have a
Dramatic.
play
Die
happening
here,
now.
but
He's
it
got
doesn't
the
look like he's going to
fast.
get engaged. Would have thought that
He's totally
Humor doesn't have
fine.
too much health, but I guess they said, you know what? It's not worth it to die if we don't have the damage. We don't have Cinder ult yet. We're just going to back away. That's mid turret gone here already.
It sure is. Yeah, there's another turret. That hook very, very close to landing for the kid. We're going to get another charge out of Shelly. Does collide with the tier 2. That is going to be a hook, though, onto the Aurora. Super Saiyan in a little bit of trouble. Has the weirding for that little bit of extra space, but is chunked extremely low. Now the Nature's Grasp from the flank locks down the Aurora, and Chaser goes on a rampage. 4-0 now on this quirky Naysayer. Teleported into the river, finds the knock-up onto Humor. The Bella's Breath Auto going to be there as well. The Cho'Gath has got a flash to get out of there. So much CC from this Horn. And it does end up being one pick right as the dragon is about to spawn launches.
Yeah, I don't know what there was. For some reason, your audio had cut out for me. It was a little weird right there. So I can't follow up on anything there. But all I know is that Super Saiyan is dead right now. And we will see the third dragon go over to Chocolate. And I mean, it's pretty good because this, even though, of course, they're a little down on the gold, they're, you know, one turret down as well. They still have Soul Point, and that just means there's a guaranteed fight over this Soul and or this Baron, depending if they want to just take this Baron as their collection prize whenever Clown does have to try to stop this Soul play.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe some kind of internet issue for somebody happened there at launch. I was not sure if that was you or me, but glad we got that sorted out for now. But yeah, that was a really big deal for the Pancakes there. The fact they're able to get that pick onto Super Saiyan and transition that into their third dragon, like you're talking about, is absolutely massive. It really looked like the side of the Clowns were going to be in a good position to secure that dragon for themselves, right? The fact that they were able to use the Rift Herald in the mid lane got so much pressure there as Scatter on to Slay in, but the Blitzcrank is here to counterattack onto Water Cat, and that is not a fair fight that the Cat's going to be able to come out on top of. That's another pick in the side lane. Super Saiyan picking up his first, actually. Of this one is high up. Oh, dear. Face checks another bush and immediately has to flash once again. Feels like that Thresh Flash has just been being used on cooldown.
Yeah. Well, I mean, unfortunately, what you want to do, I mean, maybe Hex Flash would have been better, but that's just in hindsight here, just because, again, keeps walking up, trying to put these wards into these bushes, but lo and behold, a Clown player is there waiting in lurking. So, I'm going to be a little fight here for this red buff.
Yeah, God's Glory. He's going to flash forward for the 3-Talon Strike. The Lantern does go down, and Duddy gets over to it. Haya saves his jungler, gets him out of dodge. Very close call there, as the Clown's almost able to find one.
Yeah, unfortunately, there wasn't anything really used on the side of Pancakes here. Ooh, okay. But to say, ooh, nope. No good predictions there, but because of the Lantern coming out, again, there was no flash being used, and of course, Xin Zhao's flash and ult are actually down, so they should, at least the ultimate should, of course, be up in that dragon fight in 3 minutes, but it's going to be kind of unfortunate for this next fight that maybe happens in the next 3 minutes. I do assume that these teams probably will have something come up, because, of course, Otacon is now up and available as well. It is Voracious, so we will be seeing those GAs come out. So really, really beneficial if these teams do want to go for it.
Yeah, definitely. That Xin Zhao flash, like you were pointing out, not going to have that back for the soul fight. That is definitely something that we need to keep in mind. Duddy Brains getting run down by this speedy Cho'Gath right now. That Rupture is going to land. Nature's Grasp going to be forced out. The hook pulls the Maokai back in. There's a play happening on the top side as well. Super Saiyan going to get executed by the Syndra. Looks like a disengage on this bottom part of the map. Has a lot of low health bars. Resilient, though, is still full and wants to try to continue to get out some more damage, but the front line is definitely hurting a bit. 2 minutes still on the Dragon.
I mean, the thing is, Resilient was, even though there's only a single chainmail vest being built here, chain vest being built here for Orin, there was just so much tanking there Caitlyn just looked like she was tickling the Ornn. Of course, is going to go the IE second item, but gonna maybe need some type of
That
like,
mid-game trough that
LDR,
you mentioned
probably
earlier, right?
LDR. Yeah, probably gonna need that LDR just to even get through
Yeah.
the Ornn, get through the Maokai here. So, isn't gonna be doing much damage until that third item. So, but the thing is, it's really hard to have that front to back and with this team because, of course, that's not a tank. That's not that much of a tank Cho'Gath. So, gonna have to be careful there. But this might actually be will they go for Otacon? That's the question. It looks like they will, but of course they
Feels
do trade that
risky.
top lane turret. But ooh.
Very risky. This dragon in a minute as well. There's a hook on a Naysayer, but the Ornn, as we were just discussing, extremely tanky. Not really in too much danger there. Had a lantern anyways, and they will peel off the Otacon. I'm not really sure what the call was there, to be honest. As it was always it was a very ambitious thing to go for.
Yeah, again, I mean they do technically have the CS advantage, but ooh, they're gonna have to be careful here.
That's a scatter onto the
Kid might just be
Blitzcrank.
dead.
Kid is in trouble. It does find a hook onto Duddy Brains, but the Blitzcrank is going to go down first. Haya puts up the box. God's Glory now is going to be forced to Crescent Guard, but the Ornn blocks the escape path. The knockup is there. The jungler is down. That's going to be Soul. That's going to be everything for the Pancakes.
Yeah, again, it just looked like Clown was just so disjointed there, not even playing together. We have Super Saiyan top lane right now, not TPing in, has a TP, doesn't want to TP in. And we saw that Blitzcrank was kind of all around, but the thing is, they were all like doing a ring around the Rosie around that one, around the rock right there, so wasn't actually able to get into the fight at all, and eventually does go down, again, 2 for nothing. And that's Soul point, or that is just Soul in general, and that's not going to be doing...
Man.
Oh,
Humor
Humor goes down as
desperately
well.
wanting to try to find an angle to get in there for a miracle steal, but it's just going to get bowled over by the Ornn. Naysayers lets him have it. Now Resilient has to burn both summoners to try to survive, but the knockup is there. The flash for the hook, and Haya finds it. It's only the kid now. The lonely Blitzcrank just has to get out of here. They delayed the Dragon take, but it's going to go down in the end. God's Glory not able to get back in time, and now the Xin Zhao going to get hooked in once again, but the Pancakes got what they came for. They're ready for the reset. So, never mind. Are they on the Otacon right now?
I mean, all you know, well, I mean, you don't have Humor, you don't have Resilience. You probably could take it if they wanted to, but I guess they don't want to flip it just because they do know that God's Glory is in the area, so does decide to, back off the Otacon. We'll go for it afterwards. We'll bring down Watercat for this fight, have that 4v5. We do, of course, see Super Saiyan top lane, so we know that you at least will have the benefit of a 4v5 here, but actually Super Saiyan's just going to TP in here for a flank.
Interesting. Yeah, we do see the side of the Pancakes are a little bit split at the moment, but nobody is really overextended. God's Glory is going to find a Gromp. Does get the knock up there on the Naysayer, denies the Searing charge. And the hook is not going to land there. God's Glory going extremely aggressive here onto a couple of tanks. The Xin Zhao, where's the follow-up here?
Where's the damage?
Not gonna find any glory that time. I don't know what the plan was. Resilient now. Has to be the one, and he gets hooked in by the Thresh. Nobody was ready to get that Caitlyn out of danger. Another kill for the Pancakes. Super Saiyan not getting away either. This Corki is dominating. A scatter lands. The kid gonna get obliterated as well. They're just dropping like flies launches.
Yeah, now that's just going to be Otacon going over. They could probably just rotate to Baron if they wanted to. There goes, not bot turret just yet, of course, has to walk away. But this will just be, again, it's going to be Otacon. Probably going to be Baron here if they do decide to go for it. Or just push it down mid lane, push it down bot lane. Get those 2 tier 1s that they do have available here. Humors can get a single turret, but I don't think it's worth it for Otacon. 4 deaths, and probably going to be another objective on the map as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's most likely game. I mean, there's so many objectives have been picked up at this point by the side of Elysium. Just this Hextech Soul looks so impossible to play into, right? Arguably the strongest soul in the game. I would say it is. Would you say it's the strongest soul?
It definitely was. I don't know if they have nerfed it within that time frame, right? Because of course we did.
So.
Of course, Soul's
the
always
hook's gonna land onto Haya, but the Thresh isn't too bothered about it. Again, there's no follow-up there for the Clowns. Oh dear. Oh, Resilience. That was a gameplay experience if I've ever seen one.
welcome to going against a mage as an ADC. You don't get to play the game. You just see the gray screen, and it's great. But I mean,
Yeah,
there goes
I
mid
mean,
lane. There goes the bot lane's gone as well, and they probably should just go for this Baron on Baron right now, just because resilience isn't there, and that's kind of was their only damage in this game, and now there's just nothing to combat against this pretty strong Corki. That's 6-0 and 3. Is the Syndra that's 5-3 and 4.
I mean, they can look for a miracle fight here, but the turn is so clean from the Pancakes. They just go directly onto the kid. They take down the Crank. Humor's not getting away either. A double kill for the Ornn. We were, like, worried a little bit, right, launches with the draft about the amount of damage for this Elysium squad. I think what we forgot is that Ornn is also a bruiser and an assassin.
Mm-hmm. And tanks
how
up
could we
everything as well. It's Ornn. I mean, I have to keep forgetting this isn't League of Legends, this is League of Tanks, and anything that isn't a tank is horrible in this game. So, and they haven't, of course, changed it in the last 2 years. So with that, of course, Ornn's very strong. Maokai is very strong. Thresh is fairly strong. And the thing is, with a tank being strong, Cho'Gath says, you know what? I'm not going to build tank. That's meaning I'm not going to be strong. And
oh, you're really frustrated by that Cho'Gath build, aren't you?
Yes, I am very frustrated because I don't understand these Cho'Gath top lane, Cho'Gath mid lanes builds because I have yet to see one actually win a game. I've watched about 4 or 5 Cho'Gath mid lane games, same build, lose it every single time. I don't know if there's some tech I'm not seeing or anything, but it's not doing well.
I think it is definitely a build that is going to look worse from behind, right? Oh, the flash onto the kid. Oh, that was clean from high up. The kid tries to flash away, but just face plants into the wall, and now Super Saiyan's not getting away either. Another double kill for Chaser. This game may be about to end the same way that it started.
Yeah, this should just be a run it down mid lane here. You got 3 members here. I mean, you can put Duddy top lane, get that push on Watercott bot lane here. Relentless, you are a 2-item Caitlyn against some very tanky members right there. You will be doing no damage there, and that should be mid turret here as well, because all you have to do is just sit back, let that and Baron empowered cannon minion do as much damage as they can, just block all the Caitlyn shots here. I don't think Watercat's gonna do much.
Oh yeah, that Cho'Gath is not tanky, as we've discussed. One more combo from the Syndra, and Humor would just be gone. As Naysayer again finding the engage, a little bit of lockdown on the kit, and yet there goes the Cho'Gath. Called that one. The mid inhibitor is about to drop. Playing on 3 lanes right now are the Pancakes. Another hook onto Resilient. The cleanse gonna be forced out. The Cold, the Forge God. Not quite able to lock down the Caitlyn, but they are gonna take the Crank. And now Super Saiyan tries to go between a couple of worlds, but is gonna be hanging out in the 1 down under for now. Probably for the rest of this game, as Watercat is dominating. All of the Pancakes are absolutely flattening their opponents here in game number 1.
Yeah, and that looks just to be game right there before even the 30-minute mark here. I mean, yeah, going into this, if you look at the team comp or just the draft itself, it definitely looks like it's in the hands of Clown. But those split pushes, those split plays that they had not being where they wanted to. Like I said in the beginning, Clown wants to be playing this pick comp, but in this case, they were the ones that were getting picked and eventually led to their loss.
Definitely the case, launches. Yeah, it felt, unfortunately, a little bit disorganized for the side of the Clowns. They looked foolish, I dare say, at a couple of times, when just felt like some members weren't on the same page. You know, there were people going for various plays that other members weren't ready to follow up on. And we're definitely going to need to see them, hoping to see them tighten things up a little bit and give us a nice competitive series tonight.
Again, this is only game 1. You still have up to 4 games more in this series. So even though Clown does go down a single game, it's not over. Clown still has to win 3, and Pancakes with that win still have to win 2 more to be able to have that win and be able to be crowned the Crusaders champion of Season 2 Winter Split. So everything is still up on the table still.
That's right. That's right. Are we sorry, what was that production? Okay, are we gonna just go ahead and get right into that draft production, or did you want to go to break? All right, that sounds good. We're gonna get into that game 2 draft, guys, momentarily. Clowns choosing red, I believe we were just informed for this next one. What other adaptations would you like to see launches here in the draft?
Number one, no Cho'Gath mid. Whoa. I think that's kind of the main thing there. Cho'Gath did nothing. Didn't even get that mid kill at all. I gave that to Xin Zhao, and after that, didn't get a single assist after, I'm pretty sure. That needs to change, first of all. Do not have that Cho'Gath mid. Cho'Gath top, I think, would have been a little better in this draft. In this draft here, would have got the Cho'Gath ahead. Would have been way more tanky. And because they weren't really doing that pick comp, really did have way more of that. Really should have gone for that front to back, but because no front line, no Cho'Gath tank, wasn't able to. So I think that definitely has to change. Other than that, I think a little less tanks on the side of Chocolate Pancakes, even though they did win. I think that having that synergy of mid or jungle AD, mid AP, and vice versa there is kind of important. In this case, they did, of course, do it because there was no tank on the side of Clown Gaming, but it's just an adaptation that can do good, that can be done well, and can eventually get snowball the game even harder than they already did.
Well, let's see what our teams decide to go for here in game number 2. So we do have Elysium. Their bans in the previous game were the Gwen, the Jinx, and the Swain on red side, and they're not going to change that up whatsoever, despite being on the blue side this time around. Does probably indicate to us that they're not comfortable playing the Gwen. That would be a prime B1 pick, you'd have to imagine.
Yeah, it looks like these teams are just picking exactly what they did. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just gonna run it back here. Don't think Clown wants to be first picking the. Again, I think they first picked the Caitlyn. If I'm thinking correctly, did
It was the
they?
Xin Zhao that
It was
they
the
took
Xin.
on the
Sorry, there was a
B1
Xin
in
Zhao.
last game.
Xin Zhao is fine. I think if you see here, actually, Resilient has been spamming the Lucian here, playing a lot of it. So it makes sense bringing out the Lucian. Very comfortable on it as of late here. So does come out and has that like early game advantage against that Cork. He's going to be able to do a lot of burst damage early and then could potentially snowball the game because again, even though they did get that lead in game
Whoa.
1, they weren't able to do much. But this is going to be a Kindred lock in. Cool.
Surely not.
It
Oh,
is.
locked in. Okay, the Kindred for the Clowns. This will be. I love watching Kindred games.
Yeah, it's not a really bad pick here. And again, because now you have that AD jungler, again, you can now have that mage mid lane as long as it's not Cho'Gath. Everything is pretty fine here. And of course,
It's gonna
because
be
you have that.
okay, Lunches. I promise. But no Cho'Gath this time. It'll be all right.
Yeah, looks like Zin's just gonna stay on that blue side here. Again, very popular pick. Really has been dominating the meta as of late. I mean, it's been a good couple months since Xin Zhao's really been on top here. And because of that, they now have the ability to pick a mage mid lane. Maybe have that Syndra come back. I think Watercat did great on the Syndra. Could just run it back right now, but it looks like no, you know what? No, you see the Lucian. We're not giving you Nami.
Oh yeah, good call there. Denying the Lucian Nami, I think pretty worthwhile, but there's still some other things. I would like to see some kind of enchanter here alongside your double 80 carry, but they're gonna run back the Thresh instead. Although I guess the Thresh was actually on the side of the Pancakes in the last game, so it's going to be uh of course the Kid on the Thresh this time around.
Yeah, we saw some pretty good hooks from the Kid there on the Blitzcrank, but wasn't able to do much with it later in the game. So decides, you know what? We don't want to play the Blitz, but I still want to play Hook. So I'm gonna play the Thresh. I mean, Nautilus is on the table. I think Nautilus is a little stronger, but I guess doesn't really want to have that half engage that Nautilus does have. But I mean, the bans might be the exact same because no top laner was picked. We could see a set ban here and a Camille ban right afterwards, because who wants to see a set doing your entire health bar after being very low and the Camille being able to dive you from 3 screens away? But it looks like they said, you know what? The set is fine. We're gonna ban the Ornn because that Ornn was just did too much damage for how
It
tanky
was
he
a
was.
problem. Yeah, definitely. I think taking the Ornn away from Naysayer makes a good amount of sense here for the Clowns. Um, and he is, of course, going to have to blind pick this time around. So we are going to see the counter pick option for Super Slay, and presumably expecting a mid pick here on the R4, and it is indeed going to be the Galio. A little bit of a flex, I suppose, huh, Launches?
Yeah, again, you can still have that Galio mid lane. You still can have that Galio top lane, right? We've seen we all know the infamous Faker Galio in that mid lane here. But with Galio, of course, you're going to go that hollow raid against first. You have uh, expected AP mid laner here because of that Xin Zhao. So you're going to have just be able to have that magic resist first, and they're not going to be able to do much damage against you. I mean, you still can just go the Watercat can still go the Syndra mid lane, right? Push away the Galio if he tries to jump in on you. But the Cassante pick here top lane, you played Ornn, a pretty tanky tank that can do a lot of damage. Why not play the other one, Cassante, which is a little more dashes than Ornn even has?
True, true. Is does have more dashes. A little bit of a release date diff there. So could even be more threatening in the hands of the Naysayer. But now, Watercat, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing the Syndra again. Honestly, like you said, the Syndra looked great.
Ooh.
Zoe, interesting. So, Zoe, I've heard, is pretty strong right now. She did see a slight change on this patch where the, what was the change? It was like, it does the same amount of damage now to all targets that are hit. I think there was like a damage drop off, like for targets after the first one, and they removed that on the paddle star. I believe
Yep.
was the change.
Yeah, but this damage fall off to secondary targets removed. So I mean the splash damage, I assume here, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
gonna be a Jax pickup here for Clown. So that's gonna most likely be the Jax top lane. Just put the Galio mid lane here against the Zoe, right? Because you're gonna build MR pretty quickly here, and of course you're gonna have that stun coming out from the Jax onto Cassante. But of course Cassante can just be unstoppable because it's Cassante. We all love a 2,000 or 200-year champion, so gonna be interesting to see. But for me, I'm excited for this Zoe. I mean, we really don't see Zoe in a lot of games anymore. In low elo, mid elo, I guess here, high elo, or even pro plays. Zoe's kind of been phased out of the meta because again, she does okay damage, right? But she doesn't really have that much movement. And yeah, she has her ultimate, but it puts her right back in the same spot, and you know exactly where she's gonna land again. So really fun to see the Zoe come out, and gonna see what Watercat can do, and see how well can she pilot the Zoe.
Yeah, Watercat did have one of the. It's definitely in his top 5 last split. Is the Zoe. So this is pretty big comfort as well. It's gonna be really interesting with these drafts. You know, like I mentioned earlier, I'm a big fan of the Kindred. I do think that the Galio paired alongside the Kindred is excellent. Right, that's one of my favorite mid laners to see if I'm playing a Kindred game. Uh, the Jax R5 is a little bit interesting. It sounded like you were feeling a little bit underwhelmed by it, right? Launches, the fact that it can be difficult to really make any headway in the side lane against a Cassante. What do you think is kind of maybe the thought process behind this Jax?
I mean, it's not too bad. I think this is definitely a Jax that was looking more towards that mid-late game, right? Being able to jump onto the Corki, jump onto the Nami, jump onto the Zoe, right? So definitely more of laning phase. I could potentially lose here. It's definitely going to be a battle of hands in that top lane here. There's going to be a lot of a shuffle up there top lane, a lot of beating each other up because it's top lane and you're on an island. But it's gonna be a late game Jax or mid game Jax where his entire thing is just to jump in the background, jump in the back lane, delete the Corki, delete the Nami, and with that, allow Lucian to kind of jump in, allow the Kindred to jump in, and just raise the entire team.
All right, yeah, we'll have to see if, of course, Jax can find those angles in this one. Overall launches, how are you feeling about the drafts? Do you feel like either side came away with the better end of things here for game number 2?
I think these two teams are really going for the hands. I think that both of these drafts are pretty good in and of themselves, but it's definitely going to be who has better hands in this draft because you have the damage outfit from both teams. You have the Zoe that can really have the burst. You have the Corki that can have kind of that sustain. Of course, you have the Xin Zhao and Cassante is Cassante, right? And you still have a front line who still can do a lot of damage. But on Clown, yeah, you have the early game damage from the Lucian. You have the late game damage from the Kindred. And of course, you have the Jax on your team as well. Kind of lacking on that AP because all you had really got is Galio. And his AP damage, unless you buy Death Cap pretty quickly as a second, most likely third item, it's going to be pretty hard to have that AP damage. Cassante builds MR and it's going to be hard to do anything. But I mean, in this game, I'd say whoever has the better hands wins.
All right, a lot of damage on both sides, definitely. We'll see about those hands in just a moment. Don't go anywhere, guys. The Crusader Finals will be right back.
I've seen relics of kingdoms past and crowns of ancient kings. I've heard stories of distant lands, realms I long to reach. Your voice, it beckons me to go to worlds unexplored, to leave behind my home and wander. I've been treading water for some time, picking up the parts of all my life. Didn't get to solve it.
All right, everybody, welcome back onto the Rift for game number 2 here in the Crusader Division Finals. Elysium Chocolate Pancakes on the blue side after taking that victory in game number 1. Clown Gaming looking to bounce back on red, and the Kid leading the charge into the tri-brush, and there's a ward.
I mean,
Unfortunate.
really good play by Duddy there. You know what? They have a Thresh. We don't have a hook. They're probably going to gank us. So, you know what? I'm going to put a Warden back really quickly. So, but because of that, and they see all 5 of them there, they know that they can push that advantage up in that top lane jungle, put that ward down, really be able to spot where God's glory is going to go, and we'll be able to spot them right here onto these Raptors. So really good play there. Actually, it looks like rotating to red actually.
Yeah, Kindred almost always is going to start red buff. It's 9.5 times out of 10 is what you're going to be looking to do. And then after red buff, you do, of course, have quite a few different options. Some Kindred players just like to go straight into an invade after they get red buff. Some Kindred players like to full clear. We do have... The Kid was waiting in the bush down here, but not really going to be able to find too much. And in fact, does get chunked out just a little bit by Chaser's Gatling gun. But I'll be very interested to see what God's Glory's approach is going to be in this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume that it's just gonna be a full clear here. Why try?
Oh,
too
the
hard?
early hook.
Ooh.
The early cleanse for Chaser. Chunked down to 50%. It was resilient. Had a great landing phase in the previous game. See if he can get done on the Lucian this time. You were saying, Launches?
Oh, I was gonna say that's most likely just gonna be a full clear, just because again this bot lane is just gonna be too much.
Oh, there's the level
but
2. The
already
flash
though.
wave for Chaser gets away from the death sentence, but he's ignited. Burning down. No summoners left. Resilient flashes in there for the auto attack. It's gonna be first blood for the Clown Gaming ADC.
I mean, just like last game, Resilient's doing really great, but walked up a little too close to that turret. Has to already put down the barrier. But I mean, look at mid lane. Watercat's doing pretty well here. So we'll just go down, or we'll kind of push out Humor in this lane here. But ooh,
Oh, the hook from the kid finds it. Haya flashes. Oh, now the kid has picked up aggro. Oh, no.
Oh, I mean, Clown is living up to their name for a Clown Fiesta here.
Oh, no.
Really being a little questionable on these plays.
It's so early in game 2 still, Lunges. You had to do him like that.
I mean, whenever walking up that close, yes. You didn't have to dash into that. You had a hook, walk back. Your Lucian should have the range there, and you should be fine.
Yeah, a
Didn't
little
turn out that way.
unfortunate. We see Naysayer does have the Grasp Rune in this top lane. So these short trades are actually, I mean, it looks like nothing's happening, but actually every time one of the, oh, God's Glory is going to face check a Zoe. This is so sad for the Kindred. That bottom crab was marked too. He won the RNG, but he lost the Battle of Mid.
Yeah, that gives an idea. I think Watercat's Zoe is a little good here. Being able to get that first kill already, gonna be able to put himself just ahead of the Galio, ahead of Humor, and because that's what you're gonna be wanting. Again, Humor's gonna be building that MR pretty quickly here, so your damage is gonna slowly rank or go off. So having that early kill, that early gold, definitely helps whenever you are going against a Galio MR. Ooh.
Another little bit of damage there onto the Galio as the kid has found more people than I think he necessarily bargained for. As now Resilient is going to get dashed on, I should say, by Duddy. The knockup is there. The Lucian, of course, used Flash earlier for the first blood, and that means he has no way out. It's going to be first kill of the game for Duddy. Easy shove here for the Elysium bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, not feeling too bad, but that just means that you have a trade of your pretty much entire jungle here, unless Naysayer has anything to say about it. God's Glory just has to walk away. Yeah, I think just gotta have to walk away.
I will say, the Kindred, I love to see this, waited until the passive mark spawned on the topside Scuttle Crab. So, we are at 1 mark for God's Glory. We'll have to see if we can keep that going. It's really... Honestly, if I'm the Kindred player, it sucks that your bot lane got ganked, but seeing the Jin Xiao down there in the bottom lane, you breathe a little sigh of relief. It's like, okay, my game isn't over. I got the topside crab. I got 1 mark. Let's see what we can do.
Of course, you now see where the mark is, and on now the Raptors there. Ooh, a lot of damage coming out onto Haya. But of course, you're a Nami. You can heal up quite a bit. And there's kind of low mana on Resilient and Unknown. So, gonna have to be a little, or sorry, unknown, sorry. Gonna have to be a little careful on that. Ooh. A little close right there. But not gonna be pretty good if that's the case.
Well, 6 advantage for Naysayer right now. Super Saiyan is going to be able to pick up this minion wave, and I imagine the Jax is going to get 6 off this minion wave. So we're doing perfectly fine up here. We do have a slight CS lead in the jungle at the moment. Really, we're relatively even still. Just, the 3-to-1 in kills obviously being the main difference at this point.
And of course, with having that on, again, having a kill onto Watercat, having a kill onto Duddy definitely feels pretty good. The Nami, maybe not as much, but at least you have an assist onto Chaser. So not gonna be too mad here.
Haya.
Haya's
We're just hanging around a little bit long,
and
but
misses.
Kid not going to find the death sentence. The Aqua Prison not going to land either. Haya running out of health is ignited, burning down, will drop to the Kindred. God's Glory, though, now in trouble. Flash forward to get that kill onto the Nami, and is going to pay for that one. The Kid getting dashed on now by Duddy Brains, has to flash back underneath the turret to stay alive. Resilient is the Lucian, going to be able to get away from this one? Should be able to, yes. Relentlessly retreats, and it will be... another one fight for the Pancakes.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, God's Glory actually didn't get the stack, but ooh, even more damage. Ooh, actually, now looking at that's actually a really good play there by Humor, because whenever you do get the sleep onto you, you do get woken up by the first ability or damage being taken. So by taunting, Zoe then auto attacks you, gets you out of the sleep, so you don't have that extra damage from her Q being placed. So really good play right there.
Absolutely. Good to see that Humor knows his way around the matchup. But in the aftermath of that bot side fight, we did see the side of the Pancakes take their first dragon. Obviously, that dragon stacking ended up being so good for them in the previous game. So able to get the first one again here. They're feeling all right about that. Another mark denied from the Kindred as well, as that bot Crab's going to be taken. There may be one about to spawn on this Gromp. See if Naysayer and Watercat are going to be able to prevent God's Glory from getting that jungle once again here.
But looks like just gonna go for grubs. I mean, that's the best play, right? Trade them back. Don't give them, don't lose them as well to have 2 stacks of epic monsters onto the side of Pancake. So good plays there, but I mean,
Duddy Brains is here now though. Watercat had the mid push. 2 grubs have been taken. Now we have the Cassante moving over as well. Looks like this 3rd grub is going to go over. So we are going to have that neutral trade completed.
And I don't think that, yeah, looks like just going to get over the wall there. Of course, you got Jax, you got the Kindred, who all have dashes to get over the wall. So not going to be too scared there. Ooh, not going to be too much there either. So there is a little XP lead on Jax. Does have it. That is
not going to find the W displacement. Now Super Saiyan popping the ultimate, looking for the all-in onto the Cassante, but he's Cassante.
Also on the fact that that is AP Jax going Gnasher's Tooth first.
Oh.
So I did again. I said that there wasn't much AP damage on the side.
Going all out. Now the all-in onto Super Saiyan. The Jax has flash. It's going to be a trade of those flashes between the top laners.
Not going to feel too bad because Jax already used the ultimate there and forces out the flash as well. So at least it's a pretty good trade there on for the side of Naysayer, and going to be able to hit those turrets as well. But oh no, Kindred's still stacked.
Yeah. This is going to be second mark, I believe, for God's Glory. Watercat is going to be able to get the information. But yeah, the Raptor's already been taken, so Duddy Brain's not in time to deny that one. That does mean God's Glory is now up to 2.
Ooh,
not the fastest pace, but doing okay.
It is a pace. Remember, level 4 definitely hits your power spike there. Every 4 levels, it's every 4 levels that you really hit that power spike at the extra range.
It's 4, and then it's every 3 after that.
It's every 3? Okay, how was it 4?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's 4 for the first one, and then it's every 3 marks after the
You can see I don't play Kindred. I try my best to play Kindred, but with those stacks, I might have griefed a game or 2. Hey, they're free.
It's a tough champion.
Yeah.
Tough to master, for sure.
Yeah, and I can't play any of my regular ADC champs in the jungle, unfortunately, so I don't have that benefit either. So
we do have our Kindred is hovering around this bot lane at the moment. Meanwhile, Duddy Brains has completed the reset. The Xin Zhao has reset to topside. So Chaser and Haya are going to have to be careful. They're going to get dashed on. Haya tosses out the tidal wave, and that should be enough to disengage the fight. So God's Glory is wasting some time there, not really able to find anything.
Yeah, I mean, on the side, you do, of course, see Duddy being able to now take the Scuttle Crab, steal another mark away from the Kindred here. And, ooh, I thought it was going to be something there. It looks like just going to be, misses it. Humor lives another day. Because, let's be honest, now already having the Luden's Companion being built, a lot of damage coming out. But,
Super Saiyan going to use the cooldowns, but the turret aggro was picked up by the Cassante. So not going to be able to commit for a dive or anything like that. So we do have our next round of grubs now in a minute. Same story for the dragon. See what these teams decide to prioritize.
I mean, there's already the first plate now going over to Chaser, but actually in that little scrap up top lane, Jax did actually get or have to use the ultimate there, thinking that Naysayer might jump in with the ultimate all out from Cassante. So pretty good again for Cassante. Doesn't have the Jax, doesn't have the flash, doesn't have the ult, so definitely can have that advantage here if Cassante wants to again jump in over the wall, maybe has that Xin Zhao top lane for those grubs as well.
Yeah, so we'll play by Super Saiyan, just making sure that he is not putting himself in too much danger. Just wades that dive. A bubble landing for Watercat over the wall. Hook landing for the kid. The Thresh can go in for this one, but there's members here for Elysium. Watercat able to get back underneath the turret. And now Duddy is going forward with the audacious charge. Pops the Crescent Guard as well. Finds the knock-up onto Humor. The Tidal Wave as well for the follow-up CC. But now Duddy has to flash away. Doesn't have the ultimate anymore. God's Glory. Can he find a stack here on the Kindred? Not quite as Duddy Brains gets away. The Sleepy Trouble Bubble is not going to land onto the Kindred. And nobody goes down there. Somehow, 0 deaths.
I am very impressed by both teams to see how that goes. But looks like All Out was actually used top lane. Jax says, you know what, I'm going to back. Does have TP to get back into lane.
The hook. Oh, the bubble. Oh, dear. Oh, these
Jax,
health bars. Oh, the Lamb's Refuge from God's Glory keeps the support alive for now. The teleport in from the Jax. As you say, Humor finding the Justice Punch. Duddy, Taya, rather, that gets taken down. Watercat going to get shut down as well. Naysayer a little bit late to the play. Has teleported in now, but it's going to be 2 quick ones over to the Clowns. Now they can look for the dragon.
I mean, this just looks like a reverse of roles last game, right? We did, of course, see that Clown were getting ahead in that last game, but afterwards, after some maybe uncoordinated call, I would maybe say, they give over a couple kills, go over the dragon, and I mean, just like last game, we saw the same thing, right? We saw that we did see Clown, or I guess in this game, we do see Pancakes get ahead, right? They get ahead, get that gold lead, but afterwards, a play that they were just not coordinated for, right? We did see that Super Saiyan was able to TP in to that bot lane way quicker than Naysayer did, and whenever Naysayer came in, 2 members of his own team were already down, and by that point, not much that a Cassante can do. And I think Watercat's gonna have to be careful here.
Yeah, Watercat getting flanked by the Thrash kid, not gonna find the hook though, so that was not the real flash for Watercat. That was a fake flash. So, can be feeling okay about that one. Easily able to get away. Meanwhile, the grubs being taken. Death sentence onto the Cassante. Naysayer just pushing back onto the kid. Wind does become lightning onto the Kindred. Duddy Brains, though. And Naysayer a bit outnumbered, but the Cassante goes all out onto the kid. Duddy Brains into the Crescent Guard. Looking to burst down God's Glory, who doesn't have the ultimate back available just yet. Is going to get taken down by the Xin Zhao. And now the teleport into the play from the Galio is going to arrive to find his jungler has already been taken down. Finds the Justice Punch onto the Cassante, though. Naysayer forced to flash away. The Sleep, though, connects onto Super Saiyan. The audacious charge forward. The counter-strike buying a little bit more time for the Jackson. Cassante gets taken down. Duddy Brains just needing a little bit more damage, but he can't quite find it. Gets taken down himself. The bubble is not going to get high after safety, but the blast cone might, but it's underneath the turret for the Jax. Is going to trade himself for the support. Watercat with the ultimate gets knocked up by the Galio, and the piercing light from Brazilian secures the kill. It's going to be an absolutely crazy fight, but in the end, massive win for the Clowns.
Yeah, again, that's the thing. They're not coordinated. You see that Resilience Chaser is just bot lane. I mean, gets the bot lane turret for the troubles, but I don't know if that was really worth it when you have a 4 for 2, I think is what it was. So I think that the side of Pancakes need to be more coordinated, right? We saw last game that they would always have all their players where they needed to be at those times to get those fights in, but this time, again, they're very split. They're not coordinating just right and having these disadvantaged fights. Again, those 4v3s, those 5v4s. And in the end, Resilience is pretty strong. And if you don't have your ADC there to do damage, you don't have your Xin Zhao always in the fight, and Cassante being able to block so much damage, you just eventually lose the fight.
In the aftermath, we saw the Clowns were able to secure their 4th grub. So they do have still that additional Void Might buff in addition to that one dragon they've been able to pick up. The neutral game going a little bit more in their favor this time around here in game 2. But of course, it's anybody's game still. It's very minimal, the gold difference between these two teams. Just a couple hundred gold right now.
I mean, looking at the items, of course, you do have those new shiny shoes, so at least they got something out from it, right? They do, because Corki did get that first turret bot lane, they get those shiny shoes for themselves. So, I mean, that's one positive, but it's not going to be feeling the best as what you could have. But, Watercat's going to have to be careful.
Oh, gets hooked out of the ultimate, but the sleep was there onto the Thresh. Still, they're going to be able to take down the Zoe. The follow-up was there from the Clowns. A nice hook sets that one up from the Kid. Naysayer now is going to push the Jax underneath the turret, but Super Slay and just slays Naysayer, but does get taken down by the turret in return. A 2-for-1 across the map there. Another small win for the Clowns.
Yeah, again, you're getting that damage out like you need to be.
Oh,
Ooh,
nice
great hook
Aqua
there.
Prison.
I was actually going to be scared because I was going to say that Haya's not hitting that many bubbles as she really wants to, right? You really want to hit as many bubbles as you can, and those TPs especially. You gotta really time those TP knockups, but
he heard you.
wasn't able to it a couple times. But yeah, I mean it's a channel, but you know we'll give it we'll give it. I mean, he wasn't moving at all, but you know, we'll let it go.
That was a free one. You're right.
Yeah.
So we have our next dragon now in just over 30 seconds. We did just see the Rift Herald got secured by the Clowns as well. So they're getting a lot of these neutrals. Whatever happened with the feats this game? It looks like the first turret did go over to Elysium. That gave them the feats. We'll see about this next dragon, though. The Kindred is still only at 3 marks. God's Glory has not been able to get to that 4-mark breakpoint just yet. It's going to be mid-push as well for Elysium for the setup as they move into the river.
They have all 5 members this time, so at least that's something.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And straight onto the dragon, it looks like is the call, and God's Glory, I thought I was going to say is going to be okay trading this one for that mark on the Gromp, but now the Kindred is coming back over. But the dragon is going to be already taken. I mean, I feel like they're a little bit too late. The hook is going to land onto Watercat. A couple of members are in the pit, but the smite is good from Dunny Brains. But the fight looking really good for the Clowns. The Jinzhou does have flash, is going to use it, still dies. Resilient dashing forward with the culling straight into Naysayer's backside as the Galio ultimate over the top to keep Lucian safe. Another hook from the Kid connects onto the Corki Chaser, not able to get away. Another massive team fight win for Clown Gaming. They're up now 14-7, 2.5K.
Yeah, that's pretty good fight. They're able to get this mid lane turret here. Probably just going to have God's Glory go and get that last stack to get that little power spike that you really do want on the Kindred here. Should have 4. Actually, already has 4 because did get the assist onto whoever the stack was on. I'm not too sure just yet, but because of that, you get that mid turret, you get that bot turret as well. And it's feeling pretty well. Of course, Lucian does fall off, but I mean, if you're this ahead against the Corki, it's not feeling too bad. And the other thing is, yeah, you do have the Frozen Gauntlet on the side, or sorry, Iceborne Gauntlet on the Cassante, but whenever you have a Jax that's AP, that's not going to be doing much. And also, Watercat, great plays early, right? But as a Zoe, your team fights aren't that good. You really want to have those picks, but this game really has been, again, those team fights, mostly in the disadvantage of Pancake, but just going to have to kind of
brute forcing this tier 1 turret right now. A little bit over aggressive. They're getting collapsed on by Super Slaying up here from the top side. Aya not able to find the Aqua Prison this time. Gets jumped on. Flashes into the Raptor pit. The Raptor soaking up some of that culling, but Humor is here from the other angle. A beautiful collapse from the Clowns. They find 2 more kills, and they are doing a great job at accelerating the pace of this game.
This should just be Otacon going over to Clown. I mean, there's not really any contention. Buddy is dead. Haya is dead. Of course, this is going to be, yes, looks to be Ruinous Otacon, so you're going to get those extra blood roses, going to get that extra adaptive force and XP, so still going to feel pretty good. And I mean, it already, it's looking pretty hard for Pancakes to come back.
Yeah, they're falling really far behind now for sure. Like you said, the Otacon is going over. Finally, they are going to be able to get this mid-tier 1 turret, and they're gonna get Kid here as well, it looks like. That's actually, the Thresh had a shutdown. The Chaser was able to pick up. That's like 300 extra gold for the Corki. Kind of insane that the Kid had that big of a shutdown.
Yeah, but you're still one item behind. I mean, you only have the Caulfield Warhammer on your side, while on the other side, Lucian's already has the Essence Reaver Collector and already building the 3rd item. So gonna have to really pick up the pace here to be able to come back from this. And again, yeah, Lucian does fall off, so you're gonna really hope that as long as you can keep it up, who knows, Lucian, or not Lucian, sorry, Corki can do a lot of damage late game. Or now actually has a mana immune here just because of that shutdown, able to kind of balance out the items here. So it is possible for Pancakes to come back, but again, they really have to. They have to shut down Resilience. They have to shut down God's Glory. Make sure they don't do the damage in these fights. But then you still have Super Slane, so they have 3 people they have to worry about for that damage. And if Super Slane gets in the backline, kills Watercat, kills Chaser, there's not much damage coming out, and I think that'll just be a really quick ace, and that could be Baron depending on when the fight does happen.
Definitely a lot of threats that the Pancakes have to worry about at this point. We have our next Mountain Dragon in about a minute. Now, would be Soul Point, actually, for the Pancakes if they could get it. But given how the team fights have gone recently, you have to imagine maybe they're more likely to give this one up. Although, I don't know if giving up objectives is something we see really that often here in the LXC.
Yeah, their biggest problem, though, is they do have the 3 tier 1 turrets already. So they're not going to be able to get any free gold on the map. Ooh, Watercat's going to be careful. Once the hook comes up. Ooh. Almost getting there. Could have been deadly. And I think if Watercat goes down already, that's just going to be the dragon pretty much for free here. But with this, Super Slane is walking down. Naysayer does have the ult, or not have the ult, sorry, has the TP to get down in this fight if they want to. But it looks like they're just going to give this up here. Super Slane's going to have to be careful, though, but just dashes away.
Contest over the midway for now. Flashing forward as the Kid finds the 3-man flay. The Galio ultimate in over the top as well. It's a clean engage. There's that coordination we were hoping to see from the Clowns. Now Naysayer has just teleported into 5 people. But again, he's Cassante. He's going to go all out onto Humor. And now the Galio's the one in trouble. But Super Saiyan flies in from the side, keeps the mid laner alive. It's the Xin Zhao that's going to drop. Chaser with the Valkyrie away. Gets flashed on the flash away for the Corgi. But Naysayer not going to get away. Watercat in a little bit of a precarious position right now. I'm not sure how the Zoe's going to be looking to play this one out. Super Slane over here on the flank eats a bubble to the face. The Paddle Star, though, is not going to get anything else done, and Zoe's going to get taken out as well. So a 3-for-1 fight, another win for the Clowns. They will secure their 2nd dragon.
Again, another fight that was a 4v5. Naysayer wasn't in the area, and again, that led to their demise. This should be Dragon here. I'm surprised they aren't already straight walking up to Baron here. They definitely can win. They have the gold. I guess they want to spend the gold here, run to Baron, and after that, push it down mid, just like how they lost last game here. I mean, currently, red side should have a 100% victory. You might see if the Pancakes want to go for that red side pick for this game 3 here. Because, I mean, at this point, it's looking pretty hard to come back. Yeah, you're only down 4K, not even 4K gold here, but the mental is definitely kind of being annoying, and I think the coordination that the side of the Pancakes have is just not as well as they had first game, whereas it looks like Clown has stepped it up, right? Like I said, they were really disjointed in that game 1. They really had to kind of get these team fights together, make sure they're walking together, and here they're doing just that, and look at they're winning the game.
Indeed, they are. Yeah, up almost 4,000 now. And they are getting some setup around this Baron. Lots of great vision getting secured right now for the Clowns. And I think they are going to look to start this one up. Although we do have Resilient channeling a recall, so I guess not quite
Navori.
yet.
It's a Navori build already. That's not too bad. It can show so much vision that if you are on the side of Pancakes, you really don't want to be walking up. But I just want to say that if you don't pick Cho'Gath mid, you win the game. Whoa!
Cho'Gath mid isn't in this one, Launches. He can't hurt you. As Humor
they're winning this
is going to get Aqua prisoned. Not going to be able to find that engage. The sleep does connect, but the Battlestar does not.
You were standing still, and Water Cat wasn't moving right there. You don't have to predict anything. He was asleep. But
well, sure, I'll get him next time.
If there is a next time, they gotta hope that they can kind of keep this fight going here. They are gonna. You see this little disjointedness here.
Here's next time. Is asleep once again. The Palsar is going to connect this time, but Watercat's running out of HP, and there's the solo kill for the Super Slayer. Resilient letting it rip here in the mid lane as well. They find another pick. Ooh. Oh, look at that hook. It's the no-look from the kid. Haya's going to get taken down by Humor. Naysayer, though, finding the all-out onto the Cassandra. Can he get to the Lantern? He cannot. Now Resilient has to make his way out of here. Oh, God's Glory jumping forward aggressively. Finds that third hit onto the Cassandra. Flashes forward, but can't quite find the Lamb's Refuge now is going to come out. A little bit of healing is there. The Corky damage bursts down the Kindred. Super slaying on the flank. The Valk away from Chaser keeps the Corky alive. It's still a one-team fight for the Clowns, but that one not quite as clean.
Yeah, again, you see, they can win if they do have the main advantage like they did just there. Again, they didn't have Super Slaying there. Of course, they didn't have Water Cat, but they still had the advantage. And of course, diving in a turret might not always be the best bet, even if you are ahead. So, good play there by Team Pancakes. But again, they're gonna have to be really careful if they want to keep in this game and try to take it to 2-0. But again, a lot of stuff needs to happen here.
Well, one stuff that's going to happen is Dragon spawning again in about 90 seconds. We do have the Baron is marked right now. As we can see, God's Glory is up to 8 marks, so reached that second breakpoint a little while ago, and now we do have these super objectives getting marked as Watercat very far push up in the side lane. Look at that damage onto the AP Jack, though, is insane. Are taking a look at this fight on the other side. The Tidal Wave is some great setup. A first kill going over to the Choco Pancakes. Humor doing a good job on this front line. Duddy Brains really nicely timed on the Crescent Guard to deny the third proc from the Kindred. And now it's the Chocolate Pancakes pushing forward. They're winning out in the team fight. The Jacks got taken down off on the side. Humor's not getting away. The Chocolate Pancakes, they were so far down. They were getting beat up so consistently in this game, but they may have just turned the entire thing on its head.
Yeah, I mean, that is now Baron onto the side of Chocolate Pancakes here. They'll get this. I really don't think that God's Glory want to be pushing that too hard. You have Watercat was actually able to get the solo kill on that bot lane here, and they're just going into the Baron. Most likely just going to have a 1-3-1 onto this lane here. Zoe's just going to keep pushing in. God's Glory has to keep focusing on this, or they're going to lose mid-turret here, but actually could potentially die, or at least take a lot of damage here. Does indeed almost go the entire health bar almost disappearing for God's Glory. And I mean, they're just going to go sprint down to Dragon here and should be able to get it for free because Humor is still dead. We can TP in. There are a couple wards, but I don't think that it's going to be enough.
And God's Glory, as you just mentioned, did take a big chunk from Watercat there. Had to go back home and heal. And I don't think the Kindred is hoofing it down here in time. There is that teleport from the Galio that you also mentioned. And the Thresh is here for the Lantern, but oh, we're actually going to turn for the fight. Oh, it's a beautiful setup for the Pancakes, but can they get the kills before the cavalry arrives? The Kid going to get taken down. Aqua Prison landing there onto Humor. The Kindred is here now, arriving to the top side of the fight. Brazilian trying to pincer in from this bottom side, getting some good damage done with the culling. Naysayer
keeping
looking like
away.
He's... Oh, this stun comes through from the Jacks, but it's not enough. The Cassandra gets it done, just goes right through both of them with the Intofos. That's going to be the Dragon secured as well. Resilient and Humor, the only survivors. They have to retreat and try to withstand this Baron siege. Holy crap, Launchers. This game turned around so fast.
Yeah, they did what they needed to. They needed to group up and get those wins on the fights that they were out, that they had the number advantage, and they eventually do. The Lucian is slowly kind of gone down, you know, isn't as powerful, right? Loses that early game advantage, kind of falls off, but the Corky can come online. The Zoe isn't getting caught out on these pushes, and eventually is getting these huge Qs off, getting the damage onto God's Glory that pretty much just Godscore's health bar just completely disappears at that point. Gets the Baron, gets the Dragon, and the game is now in their hands. I mean, talk about a caster curse if I've ever seen one. But I can't say that they're going to definitely win this game because it could go back the other way again.
Well, it could. You know, you never really know until one of these nexuses ends up exploding. So we'll just have to wait and see which one it's going to be. But it is looking more and more likely that that red nexus is in some serious danger. We got multiple men committed for the Pancakes up towards this top side of the map. Fishing right now as God's Glory is going to be denied his Krugs.
You need to start pushing waves to actually get advantage out of this Baron buff here, because you can clear camps all you want, but that's not going to be helping you with that Baron buff. You don't get empowered minions in the jungle, so should be able to get this top lane, to be honest. Ooh,
oh, that's going to be a blast cone directly on top of the kid. The Thresh is in a whole lot of trouble right now. Does find a hook onto Duddy, and Naysayer ends up being a little bit far forward. Is going to have to back away. Aquaperson landing onto the Thresh, and so is the Trouble Bubble. The kid is in trouble indeed. There's the damage from the Water Cat. Super Saiyan is jumping in, but you've already lost your report. But the CC is there. They got the ultimate over the top of the flashes. Get most of those Pancakes out to safety. Super Saiyan does get taken down. That bubble is narrowly going to miss the Kindred, who now, oh, I don't know if they're going to be able to get out of this one for the side of the Clowns. The Lamb's Refuge is going to buy them a moment, but a moment is all they will get, as Haya on a sliver of health will not go down. Every single member of the Choco Pancakes still on their own 2 feet, as it's only resilient on the side of the Clowns.
Yeah, I mean, they could probably just stay here and just go for the end, but it looks like they're going to at least have 2 mid lane, push that mid lane in. Resilient has to go this top lane, try to keep clear of these very powerful members, right? Top lane should, I would assume top lane should go down. They should have enough damage.
Oh, Resilient stepping a bit far forward. The Xinjiao W connects, but the Lantern is there to get the Lucian out to safety. The top lane will indeed be taken. It looks like mid lane is going to drop as well. The turret here at the very least, as Naysayer can't stick around to actually go for the inhibitor itself.
Says, you know what? Backs away. We don't want to push our advantage too hard here. Don't want to, turn it around too quickly like we turned it around. So is just going to go back to base, use the gold that they just got from their 4-item Corki. Maybe 4-item Zoe, depends if she backs off anytime soon here. 3-item Cassante, just super strong. And I mean, you have Dragon here in a minute 30, Baron in a minute 30 as well. So I mean, you can get this Baron, you can get this Soul, just kind of depends on what you want. And I mean, in the end here, it still can go either way, as we've seen.
It can, yeah, but I just feel like it really does feel like the Choco Pancakes have turned a bit of a corner. You know, you were just calling out those big power spikes that they do have. You know, the Corki on 4 items. Zoe going to be pretty close to 4 items. Watercat sitting on almost 2,000 gold right now, so it has to be pretty close to that. Is channeling the recall now. Let's see. Moment of truth. 4th item for the Zoe. Maybe not quite just yet, but probably doesn't even need it realistically. So buys the Seekers. Yeah, that stasis could be useful. And I think the setup around this dragon is just trivial at this point for the Pancakes. They have so much control after having taken that top lane inhibitor. And it's going to be their Mountain Soul for them. I don't know. I mean, I think it's just over if they get Mountain Soul.
Yeah, again, with that shield, they can just kind of run it down, especially with that Cassante having so much shielding
kid.
they can't have. But
The bubble. Oh, he sidesteps it. Oh, the fight about to break out now as the Aurelius has been popped. Humor, though, is the target for now. The Galio is quite tanky. We've got Resilient on a flank position. What's the Lucian doing over there? The Galio has been repositioned to cover for the AD carry, but the kid's already been taken down, and Naysayer is just running interference, taking on 2 people by himself once again, while the rest of the team deals with these divers. Super Saiyan tries to flash forward. Desperately wanted to get at least 1 there, but is not going to be able to manage it. Now a 5v3 on the map for the Pancakes. You have to imagine they probably could just 5-man down mid and look for the end, but Dragon definitely the safer call. And God's Glory trying to stick around to look for a cheeky steal, but in the end is just going to find his own demise. Look at that damage from the Corki. Literally blew him up.
Yeah, now again with this is of course going to be Soul going over to the side of Pancakes here. Should be able to also get Baron if they wanted to. Don't know if they are going to go for it. I would assume that it's the best play they can, but we'll just have to see what they decide they really want to do here.
Yeah, Baron is going to be the answer. So Watercat sidesteps that death sentence. Still, we've got Humor. Justice punching forward, finds the taunt onto the cat. And now Water could be in a bit of trouble. That is the real flash expended to try to get the Zoe out to safety. Is taking them on a merry journey. While the Baron does get taken there on the other side of the map. Is Watercat actually going to be able to get out, though, is the question. That hook is not going to land. The Zoe's still on the run, running in the wrong direction, unfortunately. Does find another bubble onto the kid and is just going to kill off the Thresh before paying for that one with his own life. As Watercat probably feels okay about it.
I mean, yeah, you don't have to deal with a Thresh hook anymore. You just push it down mid lane and should just be the victory here. He has the Baron minions as well, so should just take everything and pretty much end this game.
Yeah, the Nexus turret's now under fire. You've got Haya just stopping the recall of Resilient right now, being very annoying. Super Saiyan jumping forward. There is the Galio ultimate. Over the top, finds the knock up onto Naysayer. But again, it's only really the Cassante that's in any danger. Humor has to Justice Punch away. Super Saiyan does find multiple members with the counter-strike, but the Jax is just too squishy. He gets burst down. Duddy on a rampage as he takes down God's Glory as well. The first Nexus turret already been taken. The kid puts up the box. Resilient finally made it back to base. Puts the calling in a Naysayer, but the Cassante just refuses to go down. Resilient getting hit by the Xinjiao W there is going to be able to get back to the fountain. But the Nexus cannot run away, and I think that is what the Pancakes are looking for next. 38 minutes on the game clock, and the Clowns made them work for it in this one, but it will be Elysium going up to match point.
Yeah, I mean, great plays by Pancake there to really seal the deal. I mean, again, like we saw, Clown really was ahead there, really had the advantage, really had the team together, right? Again, they were disjointed in game one. They came back in game two, really had that coordination, but it slowly broke apart. I think that Pancakes saw what they were doing wrong, saw that, hey, we're fighting these at a disadvantage. It's really not a good idea. Even in the one fight they had advantage at that, they were just so far behind that they couldn't do anything. So they said, you know what? Why are we fighting with a disadvantage? Let's always fight with an advantage. And with that, they turned the fight around and eventually got the win.
Yeah, you have to wonder if maybe going into that second game, if the Pancakes were feeling a little bit overconfident, maybe. Just feeling like, wow, that first game felt kind of free for us. Let's see if we can style on them a little bit. And it did feel like they ended up kind of, like you said, Launches, being the ones who then had the less coordinated fights that the Clowns were able to punish. And the Clowns got themselves into a pretty good position in that game. I'm kind of left wondering, like, where did it really all go wrong? There was like a couple of fights there. Was it like, would you say that was more of a gradual thing? As it felt in the moment, like while watching the game, it felt like it turned around so quickly, right? So was there like one moment that comes to mind, Launches, where you feel like the Pancakes were really able to turn that one around?
I mean, I think that one fight, right before, I guess, I think it started with that fight where there was a 3v2 fight in that mid lane, right? They were able to get the Clowns were a little cocky, really jumped in, thought that they could have it. They got 3 for 2, but that started to show a little weakness and eventually just turned into slowly snowballing it where Pancakes could take the win back, right? Especially during those dragon fights. Again, they really positioned them well, kind of all centered in that right around drag pit. We did see, of course, they were getting circled around, but all they had to do was just go one way, right? Make it a 5v2, 5v3, and then turn it around and get the rest of them. So really good place there by Pancake and taking the win here and bringing the series up to 2-0.
Indeed, indeed. We're going to be getting into this Game 3 draft, I think, in just a moment, Launches. So it looks like the Clowns are going to select the red side for themselves once again. In the last game, it was that Jax on the R5. We ended up going for the AP build. I don't know. I mean, sure, like the Jacks found some good angles in that game, but I don't know if it really provided enough value to make choosing red side worthwhile. What are your thoughts about Clowns going for red side again here, launches?
I mean, they really do want that last pick. I think that the Jax pick is really more of a we don't have much AP, so we can go that AP Jax. I mean, I would look at it as maybe a Super Saiyan being a Baus fanboy, right? We all see those AP Jax coming out from Baus, and I think it's really becoming popular as well, where it can do well, but they really got to be careful here. It looks like this Poppy band is not actually a Poppy band, but going to be a Lilia band here. So we do see very similar bands here, but are they just gonna ban this? No, it looks like they're just gonna ban the Poppy here, and or sorry, ban the Poppy, but it's gonna be actually Lilia. So Poppy is actually open if Pancakes
Right.
want to pick it, but they're like, you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We're gonna pick Corky, and a Smolder is the counter pick. I mean,
Oh.
I can see it. I mean, we saw
Okay.
how Clown was ahead early game, and again has that scaling potential, but then got outscaled with that Lucian. So why not just outscale him again with infinite scaling and hope that they can hold out long enough they don't lose early game quick enough to where they can have that smolder online. I mean, we did see Resilience has been winning lane every single time right in the beginning, but eventually losing it a little later on. So put him on something that can scale, and who knows? Could Hey, this is a reverse sweep potential here.
Is that not like counterintuitive though? I feel like if you've got a player who's like winning in lane phase, why are you giving that player a scaling champion that's going to make it way harder to win lane? Like, is the idea
Because
that
he
he's
can
going to be able to
already
win
win
lane
lane.
anyways? Like, he's going
He's
to
going
win
to
lane
already
with
win lane.
Smolder?
Exactly. He's going to already win
Okay.
lane and then be even more powerful late game. That's my assumption here. But I mean, with it, you have a Pantheon pick here. Good flex. You can go jungle Pantheon. You can go mid Pantheon, top Pantheon, support Pantheon. A lot of picks here. Not going to be mid Pantheon because you do have that Syndra coming out here. But on the side of Pancakes, you got the Viego pick. Haven't seen it on the Rift just yet. So, can that be some fun? See if he can get those resets coming out. And of course, looks like Watercat's going to be picking out that Hui. I think that is his #1 champion, at least over his couple counts. I think Malzahar is also a really strong champion for Watercat. And I mean, we saw Zoe was pretty strong. Yeah, struggled about that late early game to about mid game there, getting in those team fights. But whenever got online, was able to do a lot of damage. So really great play here. But the Kale coming out actually for the side of
Wow.
Clown here. We've seen it banned
Full
2 games
scaling.
in a row. But I mean, yeah, like you said, this is full scaling comp here.
Oh man, I'm not a fan of full scaling comps launches. I just feel like, if you opt this much into scaling, you're like seeding too many early objectives. And yeah, I understand that you're strong later, but I feel like the games happen too quick these days to really be able to come back in a lot of situations. And the Pancakes from ahead have felt really controlled, right? So I have a hard time seeing if, the clowns fall behind with the full scaling draft, as they should, right? As you would expect to happen. I'd have a hard time seeing if they're going to be able to like wrestle control of the game back away from the Pancakes. Seems like a tall order to me.
Yeah, I mean, we also see because of that top lane pick already being picked out by Clown. Looks like Younger not gonna, because we've seen that 4 top lane bans here in these last 2 games. But they says, you know what, we're gonna pivot. We're gonna ban that Braum. Don't want to see that Smolder Braum here. It's kind of strong, but the Lilia ban actually coming out. Lilia was already banned. I'm not sure.
Oh, is that a statement from the Pancakes, or were they actually trying to
No,
ban Poppy?
Lilia is Poppy. I think it was I think it's a little switch around right there.
I wonder.
Very funny.
I wonder.
But because of that, that's just going to be not too bad here. I mean, they would have been able to pick Poppy at that point, but I guess they could have picked Lilia and said it's Poppy. But I mean, here comes the Thresh pick as well. We saw the Thresh do pretty well. Did lose, but again, it was still pretty strong here. And of course, putting it back onto Haya. We did see game 1, Haya doing pretty well on that Thresh. So it's just going to be a Thresh Corki just like game 1. The Galio comes out back from Clown again. It's like, you know what? We're going to pick it again. Now, this could mean, could they just pick Zoe again? We saw it do pretty well in this Galio. Actually, but we're halfway. I'm going crazy. We're gonna see what the top lane is for Pancakes.
Yeah. Something into Kale presumably as wow. Naysayer is gonna take the Jax now. This time.
Statement.
So
That is a statement.
that's exactly what I'm thinking it is. Yeah.
Saying you did pretty good on the Jacks, but you couldn't take the win. I'm gonna take
Do
it
we
and roll
think-
you.
Is he going to go the AP build as well?
No.
You think?
No.
Okay.
You have Hui. If they go the AP build, that is a troll at that point. Don't think that's your best bet. Looks like it's gonna be Pantheon jungle here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Interesting.
You have that 80 AP. I gotta remember that Galio is technically an AP champion, so you do have that AP AD mid jungle synergy. So that's pretty good right there. Have
Yeah.
the Nami coming out for the kid. We didn't see again. This is kind of swapping around, right? We saw that the Jax was on Clown side. We saw the Nami was on Pancake side. So I mean, it makes sense in the trade, and I mean, getting knockups for the Smolder to come in and get his ult as well. You just see these two big ults just come flying out of the sky, just aerial combat, really. So, really,
Well, one of them would
great
be from the sea, right? And the other one's from the... Or you're talking about the Galio.
You have the Galio, then you have
There it
the
is.
Smolder ult and the Nami ult come in as well. So you have, I mean, it almost
And that
looks
actually-
like airstrikes, to be honest, how they fly in. But you have the air, you have the fire, you have the air, you got the water, and
Oh.
you got.
I mean, Galio's kind of
Earth. You
earth.
have-
He's made of stone, right?
Yeah,
I feel like it works.
You got
works.
Kale, which is air, because she's an angel-like being, right? So she flies in the
I'm
air.
buying it.
Smolder, fire, Nami,
Absolutely.
water. I mean, this is now all you got is Pantheon as the avatar, which kind of makes sense.
Okay.
With Mount
Wow, I'm
Targon,
sold.
and there it is.
I mean, how
you
could they
know?
lose? They're literally the Avatar.
They're literally the avatar and his buddies.
Oh wow. I wasn't seeing the vision. Thank you for enlightening me, Launches. I was totally not thinking about this in the right way at all. So thank you for clearing that up for me. That is super cool. And one thing that I actually do really enjoy is the fact that they're not pairing up the Pantheon with the Smolder in the bottom lane, because Smolder doesn't really want to do a lot of stuff early, right? And Pantheon wants to do all the stuff early. So that wouldn't have made a whole lot of sense to me. And Pantheon is kind of like, so if the other champions on this team are the elements, Pantheon, does that mean he's like the avatar? He's like the wielder of like am I understanding this right?
I would assume so in this case, because in Pantheon's lore, he is a mortal that
Right.
eventually rises up by climbing Mount Targon. So kind of coming of age story maybe, and climbing up to become the avatar. So there's ways around it in this case. So I mean, again, it's Pantheon and his buddies. When Pantheon comes flying in, Galio comes flying in on top of him, and there it is.
Yeah, there it is. Maybe we should take a moment to figure out what's going on over here with this Elysium draft. Because they I think are missing a few elements. So I don't think it's like an Avatar v Avatar kind of situation.
No,
as
I
that
think
wouldn't
it's
happen
more
anyway, because there's only one at a time.
I mean, I'm looking at this, and it's a lot more. I almost want to call it it's a pretty depressing comp in a sense of Viego's dead-ish.
Oh,
He's
true. He is kind of sad boy.
Way is
yeah.
just sad. Thresh is dead
True.
and sad. Jax is the
Yeah.
last of his kind, so he's sad.
It-
Corky's Corky. He's not really sad. So you got you got the happy and four sad. I don't know. You got the
There's maybe something there. Yeah.
the one it's the one extroverted friend with his four introverts.
They are relatively purple. Corky is kind of standing out here again as being
Purple and
not
white?
very purple, but yeah, the mustache is a little bit of similarity with like the Viego's gray hair. So that's pretty cool. We're not really talking very much about like what these drafts actually do. From my
mean, it's kind
perspective,
of
that's mostly because
you subbed in the Viego, you subbed in the Hui, but I mean it's kind of similar drafts that we've seen in these last two games, right? They're not changing the Corky in all three games. You're not changing the Thresh has been shown all three games now, right? So
yeah.
it's not really going to be I don't think these teams are going to be playing too differently. But I think that in Clown's case, they have to be playing differently as in a late a scaling comp. But on the side of Chocolate Pancakes, I think they play similar to what they did last time. Don't get picked off like they did in that early game. They're not going to have too hard of a time.
All right. Well, what's it going to be, do you think, their launch? Is it going to be the Sad Boys or the Avatar? Who's taking it?
I think I think the Sad Boys, because I think the Avatars are going to have to scale late, and I don't know if they can get to that late game in time.
We'll have to wait and see, guys. We have been promised a 3-0 from Naysayer. He called it before the match started tonight. Let's see if he's going to be able to deliver. Don't go anywhere. Game number 3 right after this.
I feel the gravity pull and it keeps me awake. I would rather be here, lonely in space. I've made up my mind, I just wanna be free. I live my own life in a new galaxy. I wanna be weightless in the silence of the night sky. I wanna free fall into nothing at all. I'm taking the moment, starting all over. I wanna be free and live my own life in a new galaxy. Taking the moment, starting all over. I wanna be free and live my own life in a new galaxy. Was it all in vain? My world revolved around you, now it's trapped inside the pain. Maybe I should stay in the dark after you had it to replace your fall.
All right, everybody, welcome back onto good old Summoner's Rift for possibly the last time tonight. The Clowns were looking like they were going to be able to take a victory there in game number 2, but in the end, it was the Pancakes that flipped it over on them, and now they just need one more Nexus to secure the win here in Crusader, secure the chip for their team.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this could potentially be the last game of the Season 2 winner split for the LXC. But again, it's only not even a minute in the game. Nothing's really happening just yet, and it looks like these two teams are. Yeah, look at that. Look at best friends. Ooh, I mean, looks like they were trying to just be a little nice to each other, but looks like their junglers have a different idea.
You would cue me, right? I'm coming for a kiss. You was coming for a kiss. I hope he got his kiss.
I think they did.
That's
They
pretty
did.
Sweet. That's good. Love to see it.
Yep, they definitely did. But I mean, it's not gonna be.
Lovers turned bitter rivals.
Oh no.
The drama. Oh my goodness.
It's heartbreaking here.
It
Get the
is.
popcorn.
So let's see how the Smolder and the Kale are going to be able to do in terms of this early game. Need to make sure they don't fall too far behind in order to make sure that they can compete in the later stages. But of course, in terms of this early laning phase, expecting a lot of control in the sides for the Pancakes.
Yeah, I don't think anything really comes out. I mean, you got the Mighty Ducklings, Jax. I mean, it's Hockey
True.
Jax. But it's the Mighty Ducks. It's the Mighty Ducks. And he's taking a
Well,
lot
two
of damage
Jax.
as well.
Yeah. That's one mighty duck.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt about it.
Even more damage right there going to the side. Again, Kale's not going to be having the best time until at least level 6 when she can get that range. But going to have
Gotta
to see.
purchase a skeet shooter from the shop.
Gonna have to be
Sorry, I
careful.
interrupted you. What were you saying?
No, you're good. You're good. I was gonna say that bot lane. I mean, look at that CS lead right there that Corki does have. It's kind of hard to CS a Smolder because you really want to be hit. Oh, already?
Oh, the counter strike under the
Oh.
turret, the empowered auto, the flash away,
He gets out.
Naysayer, the clean solo bolo to start out game number 3.
He actually got it. I actually thought that that tower shot was actually coming in. It looks like it just wasn't in time. So he gets out. That's the benefit of a very strong game, you can say, against someone who doesn't exist as a champion before level 6. So does get that first kill, and it gets slowly pushing off that potential for getting to that later game. Ooh, great dodge there by the Galio to not get hit by the damage. Humor will just most likely put a couple more Qs in this, or whatever his wing flap ability that looks like a sombrero when he throws it out on his chicken form, on the chicken Galio, which is actually he is using chicken Galio, making sure best skin his best skin. But ooh.
We have our junglers pathing towards opposite sides, so we're just going to exchange these first couple of crabs. Super Saiyan, thankfully, still has the flash. May have to use it here, as, both junglers considering a gank right now. Spectrum Maw is going to connect onto the Kale, but does manage. Has enough move speed to get back underneath the turret. God's Glory not going to find too much down here in the bot lane either.
I mean, it is not bad. Ooh, great
hook landing onto
Cleanse
Resilient,
comes
does
late.
cleanse and flash. Both summoners down off the Smolder pretty early on here.
It was a pretty late cleanse as well.
It was.
Ooh. Doesn't look like he's going to go for it. Just going to back off here. Of course, the CS lead on this. Ooh, doesn't get that, but CS lead on the Chaser here. Okay, we've seen Chaser's. Corki's been doing pretty well, to be honest. Not doing too shabby when you get, already have 2 wins in the finals, right, on the Corki, and says, you know what, we're going to run it back for the third. Because, again, like they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
They first picked it every game. God's Glory is moving into this. Oh, we're fine. Nothing's going to happen here.
They did first pick it game 2, of course, and game 3. Game 1, it was Xin Zhao, and I think it was Kate. No, not Caitlyn. It was was Caitlyn the response to Corki? I'm not too sure. The kid, you're a little low level for that, but looks like not going to go for it.
Not going to be okay. I'm going to walk that one off. We do have our first neutral, or our first dragon, I guess I should say, has spawned. Still a little while on the grubs. Let me hop back over to this draft. It was a Maokai Corki on the 1-2 for the Pancakes in game 1.
It was Maokai first pick. That's what it was.
So they did take the Corki early as well, though. It was in their first rotation. Obviously. Yeah, a lot of priority on that pick for Chaser, and he's, like you said, definitely been playing well on it.
Oh, even more
Dragon
damage
start.
on the Super Saiyan.
Dragon start
good
for
drag
Duddy.
start here. Yeah, good start for the Was it Viego? Yeah, Duddy, Brains. Yep, definitely remember names, guys. Don't have to keep looking at the chart at all. But that'll be Dragon already going down. Looks like there'll probably just be a trade here. But the thing is, God's Glory is actually bot lane as well. So looks like Duddy will be able to rotate faster. Guest decides not to and says, you know what, we're not going to give it up because they don't actually know where that Pantheon is. As probably assumes that he is already on the Grubs. So just gives that up. Says, you know what, I'm going to maybe try to gank this bot lane, get this Scuttle Crab here as well, so that just in case Watercat wants to run down here. Ooh.
Another hook onto the Nami this time. The kid is going to get flayed backwards. Valkyrie forward for Chaser. And the flash away for the kid going to keep himself alive. That is no summoners remaining for the Clown bot duo, and every single summoner remaining for the Elysium bot duo.
Yeah, the Humor, I'm not sure that ult was the best here. Actually might get something here because Watercat's stuck, but ooh.
Spectrumon not going to land. That hook is not going to land either down here in the bottom lane. But
Naysayer's
God's
here first,
Glory
though.
jumping forwards. Yeah, Naysayer on the earlier move, like you say. Does jump in, finds the counter-strike, the flash ray for God's Glory. Trying to get back underneath the turret. Will be able to get away. It's a close call.
And nothing going to come out of it. I mean, you did have an ult used by Humor, right? But you did, of course, get the return ult from Watercat, from Naysayer. So you at least got the flash out of a Pantheon. So, I mean, it's a worthwhile trade for both teams here. But I think I think in their mind, okay.
We are very low.
Buddy, you are
these
very
grubs
low,
right
and
now.
I think you're going to die to
He's
him.
dead. He's dead to the grubs.
I did not think we would
Congratulations to the Void Grubs, your LXC No, just kidding. Is Resilient gonna get hooked down here in the bottom lane? Chaser, though, taking so much damage, is barely going to survive. The auto attack from the kid takes down the Corky. Haya, though, finds the death sentence. And the Nami, I think, is about to get fished. There is the feat of warfare secured by Elysium. Very close call, actually, in that bot lane fight.
I mean, that is going to be the feat going over for the first 3 kills, of course, going over to Chocolate Pancakes there. But I love the Galio little there.
Bold to trash talk when you're down 0-2, but, you know, respect.
I mean, again, when you're playing against some buddies, I mean, some small trash talks, always, you know,
we have to remember,
always fun. But with this, I mean, this mid lane, they're doing fine. I think it also kind of sucks that Galio is, of course, 15 CS or so behind right now, but to each their own here. But Super Slane is at least level 6, so he has that little puck shooter now that can kind of go against Naysayer. Gonna have to be careful still, because Naysayer is still a Jack that can do a lot of damage, but luckily, AD Jax.
True. Yeah, it looks like a Trinity Force first for the Naysayer. In this one, Duddy Brains did manage to get his revenge on the Grubs. So, they will not, in fact, be crowned LXC champions. So they are now dead. We'll see about this next dragon in a couple minutes. There's a very delayed, obviously, on that Grub take. So the neutrals are not going to be synced up here. It's going to create the possibility of Elysium stacking every single one of these with no possibility of a response from God's Glory. We'll have to see if they prioritize those objectives really highly, as I expect them to.
Yeah, now I do want to say that we, of course, see the Viego also going there, but also with the Grubs, they actually have the Grubs have the same amount of kills as Clown this game, and it's already almost 10 minutes into this game here. This late game scaling comp is not going too well. I mean, they're only 1k gold down. But it's not going too well, relatively.
Oh man, yeah. We'll see. I imagine the Grubs. What division do you think the Grubs would be in if they were playing in the LXC?
Arbiter. It would be straight up Arbiter. Unfortunately for them, because of how many times they die a series, up to 6 times a series.
That's true. That is a lot of deaths. This Naysayer getting flashed on, and that is a death for the Jack Super Saiyan. Getting some revenge in that top lane. God's Glory also wanted to be there to show his support.
Not sure that was the best idea. At least you got 2 ults out from the side of Clown, right? So at least they now have more kills than the Grubs do. So at least that's a benefit here. But ooh, should be the taunt coming out here. Nope, not able to. Watercat's able to walk away. And God's Glory is just going to say, you know what? I'm just going to take your jungle, at least what's left of it.
Yeah. Our dragon is spawning now. We do have Viego in position. In the bot side river, they have, of course, the push in the bot lane as well. It's looking like a start on spawn. We do have God's Glory here in the mid lane getting some mid prio.
Ooh.
There's a hook going to land onto the kid. There's the Galio ultimate going to come out very early in this one. Viego moving down.
And
Mom
Chase
is going to be
back up.
summoned up. Does some decent damage on a Chaser, but unafraid is the Corki. Maybe he should have been a little bit more afraid, as he is going to get taken down by the Pantheon, who made the move down, and that's going to be high and not able to get away either. Resilient going to pick up his first of the game. The Blast Cone to try to get Duddy out to safety. Does have his mid laner now able to join up. But nice couple of kills over for Clown. They've actually taken the lead now, 4-3.
I mean, this is the same thing that happened game 2, right? They had that little early lead, but started losing it very quickly. They were actually 3-1 as well into the dragon fight, just like last game, but this time, again, not going their way. They're not grouping up just in time. Waterkite had to stay and wave there. Ooh, Humor's gonna have to be a little careful though. Gonna have a lot of damage.
There's a lot of damage from the Spiraling Despair, but the flash forward now for God's Glory finds the shield vault onto Duddy, who flashes away and still dies to the Smolder auto attack. Another kill in addition to the Dragon. Now Naysayer, very aggressive teleporting and flashing forward, takes down the Nami. The hook is gonna land onto the Smolder, and Naysayer picks up the double for his troubles. I guess that was actually just one of the kills going over to the Jax, but it rhymed, so I had to go for it.
I mean, if it rhymes, it definitely means it's correct here. But with that, I mean, you're going to get another plate here, top or mid lane for the Corki. You really want to have that ahead. I mean, this is going better for Pancakes. That's their name. It's going better for Pancakes than it was last game, right? Because, of course, last game they didn't win that fight. They lost it again and started snowballing against them. But this time, even though they do die that early, they do lose the dragon. They're able to come back in that fight here and do pretty well. And Duddy's also in the area for grubs, so we'll at least get 4 grubs. I think God's Glory is going to be walking down to the grubs here to at least deny 1, to not have that full 6 going over, to not have the stack of feats going over already. Right, so should at least be a dash in or some sort of engage here. Ooh, stealing.
Members committed, though, by the Pancakes. They have 4 people here for the grubs, so too dangerous for God's Glory to get himself in there. So it is going to be 6 grubs. They're looking to collapse on a Naysayer. Tidal Wave coming out, but the Leap Strike away. He's very comfortable for the Jax. Not really in any danger whatsoever, and Clown Gaming not able to find the cross map, so that is going to be 6 grubs for the side of Elysium, and 1 dragon apiece.
Yep, but with that, that's the new shiny boots for the side of Chocolate Pancake. So really good play there. Already has it. I think they've gotten it all 3 games as well. The winners. Did they? No, they didn't actually. Sorry, no. Clown Gaming got it first because it was. Sorry, I should say blue side has gotten the feats every single time this series. So if we do go to game 4, at least we know who's going to be getting the feats in that case. It's got to be blue side, but currently feats only has a 50% win rate, and we'll have to see. Is it gonna go to 33 or 66?
We shall see. So we're moved our bottom lanes into mid lane for now. And we have some interesting matchups at the moment in sides. We got Naysayer's Drax actually laning against Humor's Galio down here. And we do have the Way now matched up against the Kale. Because obviously we saw just a little while ago, as Naysayer is a level down actually at the moment and is substantially down in HP as well. Humor, smelling blood in the water, flashing forward to try to set up that play. He's going to get the flash out from Naysayer in response.
I mean, not a bad play there, right? Saw the ultimate coming down. You at least used that. And not going to be -1 there. But, I mean, currently Smolder does have 85 stacks right now, so isn't going to have the little dash on the back of it. I mean, it is kind of slow because you really want to be getting that 225 stack around that, say, 25 minute mark or so. That's a really good time to be getting it. I think Watercat actually might be dead here.
Oh dear, yeah, the teleport from Humor is coming in. Really nice fear again, though, from the Way. Can Humor close the distance? Doesn't have flash to try to do it. The Nimbus Cloak is a little bit of value there for the Galio, but still not enough to actually catch up with this Way, so bit of a wasted TP.
Yeah, again, getting the TP out of Galio. That again, Galio of course does have the ultimate, which is pretty much a TP if you think about it. Just a little less area of effect, but looks like Naysayer and God's Glory. God's Glory's got an item at least to his name. Naysayer doesn't actually have the Triforce built just yet. Actually could die here. Well, does get the stun, but don't think anything's gonna come out of it. And I think that for now, God's Glory, or not sorry, God's Glory. God's Glory is just gonna back and try to look for jungle camps, while Naysayer has to try to get this wave and again go for Triforce, or else a little behind.
Well, Naysayer, or Duddy rather, is taking the Rift Herald right now, so that looks like it is not going to be contested. But our next dragon is spawning in just 25 seconds, so I don't really know if Duddy and the rest of the Pancakes are going to be able to make it down here to the bot side river to actually contest for the dragon after taking the Rift Herald. Possibly they could just like transition straight through mid, but Naysayer in trouble down here. Does get taken down, as that is the jump in from God's Glory, but now gets hooked back in by Haya. The Galio ultimate coming out, but Humor is pretty low health. Does have the Justice Punch. Not going to get punished for that one. Another hook going to land from Haya. That's going to get the cleanse out from Resilient. The Fear landing onto Humor. Does get the distance, just barely there with the punch. Backstep on the Severing Bolt, and now it's Haya who's overstepped. Flashes back out from Mom's Roar. The Tidal Wave is going to make sure that the Thresh does go down. Chaser now is here, but this is feeling a little bit disorganized.
Mid lane though, look at mid lane. It's almost completely gone.
Yeah, there's a lot of value that Duddy is getting here in the mid lane. Is going to secure that second turret as well, but is traded as well. Super Saiyan gets the top tier 1 uncontested. A lot of things getting taken right now.
And I mean, if done right, they could just go for this tier 1 as well. Bot lane doesn't look like it's going to be able to. Galio just kind of clears wave pretty quickly here. But I mean, this is just going to go dragon over, and I'm looking, yeah. God's Glory is just backing right now. Won't have the smite. Does actually stay now. But the thing is, it's going to be a 3v4. Actually, maybe even a 2v4. Looks like they just back off saying, you know, we can't win this. We see that Water Cats in bot lane can rotate up pretty quickly and just decides, you know what, we'll give it over and we'll fight another day.
Indeed. There's going to be 2 dragons now for the Pancakes. They do, in the end, secure that bot tier 1 turret as well. It was really great for the Clowns that they were able to secure that second dragon earlier on. To really, you know, get themselves some extra time and prevent that soul stacking from being really accelerated for the side of Elysium. So there is that, you know, Clown Gaming, they do still have almost 10 minutes for their Smolder and their Kale to continue scaling up into this game. We'll have to see if the scaling power that they went for in this draft is going to pay off in the end. I'm eagerly awaiting the answer to that question.
I mean, you now finally have triple Triforce. It really is the trifecta right there being built by the Jax, Viego, and Corki here. So good plays. I think that's going to be Leon. Yeah, it's going to be Leandri's being built as well for the Hui. So that burn damage onto the Galio, onto the Pantheon. Yeah, it's going to be pretty good damage right there. Looks like some going to be able to stop the backs of Humor, but I think Humor's going to be able to stop the back of Watercat as well. Does not go far enough.
And now the Galio is getting collapsed on. Look at this. Multiple members from the Pancakes moving down towards this bottom lane. Does Humor have the read on it? Oh, he could have maybe gotten out there with the teleport, but now it's too late to channel it. Maybe he could still ult out, but there's no teammates anywhere near here for him to try to taxi out with. This Galio has no options. He just has nowhere to go. Who's going to get the kill? It's Duddy on the Viego, picks up the shutdown. We do have the Clowns are going to be looking for the cross map here on the top side of the map, but Naysayer playing respectfully, not revealing his position until now. But they're going to look for the Otacon here. And you have to imagine that Elysium are going to be able to get a read on this. Yeah, there's the Scryer. They can't do it. The Clowns can't do the Otacon. Just that free pick on side for Elysium.
I mean, with that, they probably could. Pancake probably could rotate to Otacon, maybe clear the wards, force out a Galio TP, then run away, right? Waste it, but God's Glory is kind of here. Gonna have to be careful here. Oh, yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
It looks to be fine.
Need a spear. All right.
I don't think anything is going to come out of it for now. I mean, they still have that tier 1 top lane that they can take. They still got the, I mean, you got tier 2, I guess, on bot lane. But I think really, if I am Pancakes, I'd be saying, you know what, we really should be focusing this top lane turret. That's some freestanding gold right on that tier 1 here.
Just a punch forward for Humor, finds the taunt on Watercat, but once again, it is the side of Elysium with the numbers. The Heartbreaker's gonna get flashed away from, though, and now here are the reinforcements for the Clowns. Duddy with the little dash to try to get away. Tidal Wave coming out from the Kid. Is going to find the knock up onto the Viego, and here comes the Grand Starfall from the Pantheon. God's Glory on top of the wave. Watercat forced to flash, and Duddy as well has to get away from that awkwardness. But Naysayer looking to turn this play around, and now it's God's Glory, who's a little bit too far forward. The Pantheon going to get taken down first. It's a teleport in for Humor, but the Galio is so late to this play. Naysayer is going to flash forward, finds 3 with the counter strike. The K ultimate to desperately try to turn this play around. It's 2 kills back over to the Clowns. Humor is still low. Watercat is getting dashed on. The Galio, though, he went a little bit too far forward. He's going to get taken down underneath the turret, but the way is going to be traded. It's a triple kill for the KO. The hook, barely not landing for Haya. The Clowns, they find a 3-for-2 team fight.
You find the damage that you do need. Not Corky, sorry, Smolder is at almost 250 stacks already now, and you got 4 kills onto Kale, 2 items already built. That's what you want on your Kale. That's what you want on your scaling here. Kind of gets gets that gold lead very close together now, only about a 1.4k gold lead. So it is still possible to have. It is still possible for Clown to definitely win this game here. Again, nothing's off the table. Definitely, of course, it's definitely not as one-sided as the previous games have been, right? By this point, one team would have been super far ahead. We would have been saying, I mean, GG go next here. But with here, it's still pretty even, and got a drag spawning in 15 seconds, and Otacon's still up.
I feel like Game 2 was relatively close as well. Well, I do get what you're saying. Game 2 felt very swingy, where like one team was winning really hard and then the other team was winning really hard. So this one,
Otacon trade.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. But I don't know if Elysium are actually happy with that trade. As you see them starting to move up now towards this top side of the map. They are going to leave Duddy on the dragon, so they will secure that soul point for themselves. While the rest of the members try to get up here. Yeah, this is maybe a bit greedy from the Pancakes, trying to have their cake and eat it too. The Otacon is going down relatively slowly. The 3-man squad is getting held at bay by Humor as, oh, look at that damage from Watercat. The Spiraling Despair going to do so much work here. And now Duddy has rotated over. The Galio is way too far forward. It's going to get absolutely heartbroken. And Otacon is helping out on the other side of the fight. The Clowns get sandwiched in the river between a rock and an Otacon. And they get absolutely devastated. Naysayer takes the mid lane inhibitor. The back is going to be denied from God's Glory. Super Slane getting jumped on here. Should be all right, but this Pantheon might not be the same story. He's putting on his dancing shoes, trying to get away from these hooks of Haya. Jumps forward, finds the shield vault there onto the Thresh. Another hook is going to land. The Severing Bolt for the damage. Watercat makes it happen. The Otacon's going to go over now as well. That felt like it may have been the backbreaker launches.
Yeah, and I think it's even funnier is that they still won, and that was a 4v5. I was going to say it's really risky to have just those 4 members walking up while you have the Viego behind. They could just turn around, jump on you. You have a 4v5 disadvantage. You'll lose the fight most likely there, even though you're a little bit ahead of gold, because we've seen it. We've seen them go behind. But and then I looked there, I'm like, oh, Viego's here. It's a 5v5. I look mid lane. Naysayer's just taking mid turret, mid inhibitor. So a really good play is they win the fight, and they win mid lane.
You're forgetting one important thing, though, Launches. It was actually a 5v5. You're forgetting about Otacon.
I forgot about Otacon where he got the kill.
Pancakes. That's right. That's right. He took down Resilient all on his own, basically, did Mr. Otacon. And then the Pancakes paid him back by slaying him themselves, which is a little bit rude, but...
I was going to say that they died, who was it? It was, yeah, Duddy died to Grub, so Otacon had to take one from.
Man, these topside neutrals have been so deadly this game. Wow.
I mean, it's the finals of Crusaders. You gotta have some fun. They've been dying
Pancakes are
so
showing up.
long. They want to have at least some fight with they themselves have at least a fight within them.
True. I will say, I feel like both of these teams have had plenty of fight in them tonight as well. You know, the Clowns, they've looked uncoordinated at times, but they definitely have looked like they're trying to find these angles, right? It's not like they've just been rolling over and dying in any of these games. It
Oh,
just
I
hasn't
think
really all
Haya's
come
dead.
together for him. It's going to get
Maybe.
jumped on by God's Glory. The Aqua Person's there for the follow-up. Resilient flaps on over. Should be able to help take down this threat. The Tidal Wave just to secure it. Actually, even the Smolder Ultimate going to be employed there. Now Naysayer's on the flank. Finds two with the Counter-Strike. The Galley Ultimate is going to fly in there. They find the knock-up onto the Jax, but this is an AP Jax. He's tanky, and he's going to flash on top of that little Smolder and beat him over the head with a lamppost. Naysayer taking names here in the back line. Will eventually drop. And it was actually a one-team fight for the Clowns. I was busy watching Naysayer's adventures. I didn't quite see how Chaser ended up going down, but the Clowns now, a little bit of an opportunity.
They do have bounties available. They do have Baron available. So
And also for Kale.
Yeah, I was gonna say level 16 for Kale definitely feels good. Watercut's probably gonna go down here unless Humor dies.
Oh, the fear, though, coming out from Watercat once again. The Kale Ultimate is going to be employed to keep the Galio upright, and they do take down Duddy. It's Watercat? Why are we walking back in here? Just going to be a flash forward for Super Slay, and does slay the way. Another rhyme. Damn, I'm good.
I mean, this is back and forth just like last game, right? Is this going to be and the scaling is now coming out. This could just be the exact opposite of last game, right? Where we did see the scaling come out for Pancakes, but now with a level 16 Kale with a 185 stack Smolder, gonna hit his power spike very soon, 40 more stacks here. Definitely feeling pretty strong if you are Clown. I mean, all you gotta do is just hold on for a little longer. Yeah, you lost your mid lane turret, but again, you can still come back from that. Dragon is up as well in 25 seconds. So I think I almost want to say this can be make or break. This could be a make or break. But Haya, you're walking too far forward, and I think you might die here.
Thresh at risk of getting picked off at the start of the fight. Once again, the Smolder Ultimate not quite enough to actually finish off the support. But now Watercat gonna get jumped on. Way in a little bit of trouble as the Smolder looking to take him down. We do have Naysayer into the backline once again, but this level 16 Kale is just shredding through that Jax's health bar. The ultimate is going to be forced onto the kid to keep the Nami alive, but it's another team fight win for the Clowns.
Yeah, I think Haya, if I am on Pancake, I'd be saying, Haya, stop. You should not be walking up into these blind bushes here. You have so much CC that can jump onto you. You have the Nami bubble. You have the Galio dash. You got the Pantheon just stunned. So by walking up to these bushes, you have one. You're going to have all of them, and you're not very tanky right now. You're not going to be able to survive against a pretty strong Kale, a pretty strong everyone else, to be honest. And with that, you got to be careful. And I think Watercat...
Humor going to go in with the Justice Punch, but the members of the Pancakes are here to reinforce. And Humor looking like he's going to get caught out in the side lane again. Kale is teleporting in, but I don't think she's going to be in time to save her Galio. Does channel the taunt. Humor surviving for a while, and she is in time indeed in the end. Naysayer does drop in the Kale ultimate. Not being used there. Maybe it was just a second off cooldown. God's Glory is going to fly into his own demise. And now it's just the Kale who gets hooked in! The Kale ultimate does come out, keeps the Kale alive for a moment, but the shutdown is still going to go over. Absolute disaster for the Clowns as one pick onto Galio turned into so much more for Elysium.
And I mean, this is most likely Baron, and I don't think this is game. I still think it's possible unless the mommy bubble comes in. Nope.
Goodbye.
So yeah, this is going to be Baron. Rush it down mid lane. Rush it down bot lane. Rush it down top lane. Top lane still has a turret. At least get some gold there. Then, I mean, this game is Pancake's game to lose at this point.
Indeed. Yeah, they have been playing with so much confidence. It's been really fun to watch. even when maybe they should be a little bit less confident. They have consistently been taking these swings.
But I mean, if they're getting the wins, that's all that matters. Smolder is is not going to get it off of here. Does need, I think, 5 more. Yeah, it needs 5 more stacks.
He still doesn't have it. I thought you said something earlier about Resilient having that.
No, I said he has it in
into the game.
4. He would have it in 40 more stacks. And it's 30 minutes of the game. He still doesn't have it yet. Should maybe get it here at 2:21 right now. Lose turret.
It just took too long.
He has
They're
it
gonna
now.
lose their tier 2. All right. We'll see. Their backs are against the wall now for the Clowns. Resilient has finally reached that 225 stack mark. Maybe he's gonna be able to start doing a little bit more work in these fights, but they don't have very many fights left in them. It's only the base left to be taken now by the Pancakes. They're pushing down 4 men strong in the bot lane.
And also the Galio's going to hurt as well, right? Has the Riftmaker and is going to go to Zanya, so you're going to have a lot of AP as well. So got to be careful. Galio is not just a frontline anymore. He's got some kick to him right there, and also that Kale, level 6 Kale, or sorry, level 6 17 Kale at that ultimate. Unless you stun her up for years on end, she can delete your team. And also delete the wave as well. And I'm pretty sure that's why they just have Kale alone here. Is it going to be able to?
All right. Let's see. Wave, is it going to be deleted fast enough? Oh my goodness, where did that Nami go? Pantheon is going to ult in, immediately gets hooked, but still Taya has to flash away. But Watercat getting out some good return damage there. Forces Super Saiyan back. Meanwhile, Naysayer unanswered in the top lane. Baron still on for about 30 more seconds as the Jax looks to pressure on that other side. Another wave coming in the bottom lane. This is going to be the bot lane inhibitor, surely, for the Pancakes. Smolder alone, there's no way that he can defend. I don't care how many stacks he has. There's going to be 2 inhibitors taken down. And less than a minute, the Pancakes can have another crack at this Cloud Soul.
Yeah, again, this is going to be pretty hard for Cloud to kind of keep their base alive, right? They have 3 pushing waves. They're going to have to push out the waves, or else the Hui can just TP in. Naysayer can TP in. I mean, he's a Jax. He has Trinity Force. He can delete these turrets because he also has that... what's that? What's the rune? Demolish. That's what I'm thinking of. He has Demolish as well, so he can delete these turrets very, very quickly here. So if they don't push these waves out, that can spell the end. But just that also means that they're going to be behind coming into this. Ooh. Ooh.
Oh, the hook. The Justice Punch is buffered, though. Humor still gets the distance. And now Duddy a little bit too far forward. The Heartbreaker going to be employed to get the Viego back out to safety. Control over the area still.
Right there.
It was a little bit dicey. Yeah, that looked a little bit awkward. As the side of the Clowns trying to force their way in. They have scaled. They are strong. They're looking for the fight, the hook onto God's glory, but it's going to be Naysayer not quite able to find the flank angle just yet. And the Pancakes can play this slow, right? Time is on their side. The super minions we can see in the bottom lane already careening into the base. Those Nexus turrets are going to be under threat, and the Clowns just have to call it off. They're just going to have to give over the soul.
I mean, there's not much else they can really do, right? You have those double super minions at their base. Again, if they do anything, you can just have a TP. You have 2 TPs into base. They have to either respond with their own TPs here or just lose their base, lose their Nexus, and, I mean, go 0-3. But, oh my gosh, God's Glory should be...
Oh, it's a hook onto the Pantheon. God's Glory has the Galio ultimate and is able to get out for now. Knock up on the Thresh. Justice Punch forward. Looking for the taunt, but it's denied by the Death Sentence. And now Naysayer finding the counter-strike onto the Galio. Is going down extremely low. They finally take down Humor. Super Saiyan and Smolder trying to get involved. Look at that damage over the wall. Naysayer flashing in. Takes down the Pantheon. The Nami will be next. It's only the Scalers left now. Only the Smolder and the Kale to try to hold the line. Super Minions already on the Nexus turret. The Fear is going to force out the final judgment. Super Saiyan, everything is on cooldown now. The Nexus turrets are going to get taken down. The last of the clowns will be evicted from the car, and Elysium's chocolate pancakes will enjoy the sweet taste of victory.
Yeah, with that, that is actually, of course, number one, a 3-0 clean sweep by Chocolate Pancakes. But not only that, Chocolate Pancakes went undefeated in this playoff brackets, going 9-0 into the finals, or 6-0 into the finals, 3-0 finals for a 9-0 finish.
Very impressive indeed, no doubt about it. They had a very clean run here through the postseason. We had a lot of upsets here in Crusader earlier on in the bracket. A lot of people expecting New Origin Phoenix to be here in the finals. They didn't make it. Syndicate getting swept by Clown Gaming there in the semis as well was another pretty big upset. Just goes to show, there were a lot of strong teams that the Pancakes had to contend with here in the postseason, and they left no doubt. They are your champions.
Yeah, with that of course, again, it's the last game. With that, we do finish off, of course, through the Crusaders League. But not only that, we also finish off the LXC Winter Split as well. But it looks like
Indeed.
we will be having, of course, an interview with the winners here. That being, of course, Pancakes, Chocolate Pancakes, with, of course, top lane as Naysayer, jungle as Duddy Brain Zeal, mid lane as a Water Cat, ADC as Chaser, and bot lane as It's Just Haya. Congratulations.
Big congrats, guys. Welcome to the Caster Desk. Thanks for joining us for the interview. Naysayer, I want to come to you first. We were just told, I think this was leading into game 2, we were informed that you actually called the 3-0 win tonight in advance. You were extremely confident heading into this one. So I wanted to hear from you, Naysayer. What was it that gave you so much confidence going into this finals?
Yeah, so I just have a lot of faith in our team. Week 1 was pretty scuffed for us, and we ended up losing to Syndicate 2-1, but we didn't have Water Cat, we didn't have Haya, and I think I was playing support or something. So it was just a scuffed week, but like from week 2 on, we didn't lose to anyone, and we were 3-0ing everyone in playoffs. I think Clown was a good team, and I definitely think they were the best team, like the second best team at the end of the season, with their roster swaps. But like my team just has like, we typically don't lose lane, or like if we do, we like don't bleed out, and we have really good macros. So I just, Water Cat's very good, Chase is very good. Everyone's been around in the scene, and yeah, I just have a lot of faith in the guys. And even like game 2 when we were down, no one was tilted, and we just did what we had to do to get back in the game. So that's where that confidence comes from.
Makes a lot of sense.
I got a question here for Chaser. So why the Corki all 3 games? Did you just feel confident on it? Did you just think that, hey, again, like I said, don't, if it ain't broke, don't fix it? Or is it more you think that it was better into the matchups every time?
Yeah, I think just B1 and Corki was good because
yeah,
it just wasn't broken, I guess, really.
That's also how draft goes too. They go, Chaser,
yeah.
you're playing Corky, says, okay, and then we lock it. It's good.
Basically, I'm just like permanently being told what I'm playing.
He's like, I can play Kaisa, guys. I'm like, no, we can play Corky. It's good.
Corky duty. Oof.
I mean, it won all 3 games, so I mean that's kind of what matters.
For sure, yeah.
So if you could have chosen any champion here in game 3, Chaser, what would you have gone for instead? Is it the Kaisa? What would you have liked to pull out? Just out of curiosity.
Not into that draft. I mean, if I have to be one, it's just Ezreal or Corki every game, I think. But
yeah, all right.
So
sounds like it worked out for you guys. But I actually had a question about Duddy Brains, your champion pick as well. You were obviously playing Xin Zhao in the first couple of games and found a good amount of success with the pick. I was really liking the Xin Zhao, and you could have gone for it as well here in game 3, but you decided to switch things up and you went for the Viego instead. So what was the thought process there?
I mean, I could have played Xin Zhao. I played Maokai game one. I do think Xin
Oh,
Zhao is
my
really
bad.
strong, really broken, but I think Viego. I don't know, it's just a fun champ, and it's good into Pantheon. And they, I believe, had showed the Smolder already, so we just kind of wanted a draft that can play for the objectives early. You know, they had really weak side lanes. They had the Kale and they had the Smolder, so just play for all the dragons, play for all the grubs, and Viego's really good at early skirmishing. I mean, Xin Zhao's fine there as well, but I think specifically into the Pantheon, I preferred the Viego.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
For Watercat, what did you think about whenever you pulled out that Zoe game too? Because again, I was looking at that, I'm thinking, not sure what you really want to go into that Galio. Of course, you do want that mage because of course you had that Xin Zhao jungle, but you pulled again. I was assuming maybe the Syndra like game one, but you're saying no, we're gonna lock in that Zoe and we're just gonna have so much poke.
Well, my honest opinion, I think 10 minutes in the game, I was like, "Oh God, I wish I picked Hoi this game." I was
That
heavily regretting the Zoe
I
pick.
understand that. I 100% understand that.
And I do think in hindsight, Hoi or Talia would have been probably the best picks here, but Zoe's more fun, and that's what I wanted to do at least one game.
Yeah, we were noticing as well that Zoe did get buffed on this patch. What are your thoughts about Zoe right now, just in general? Do you feel like she's relatively strong at the moment, or?
I think she's pretty good. It's always a champion that if you can outplay the other mid laner, it's just gonna be incredibly strong. I think against Galio, regardless, even if the boss is just hard, and I think it was a really difficult game for me to do anything.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, for
Got to hear
Haya.
from Hi. Yeah,
I was
go
gonna
ahead,
say,
Launches.
yeah, for Haya, I mean, your Thresh was pretty good. Now, you might have walked up a little too far on that on game 3 right there into those two bushes, right? Getting jumped on by Pantheon, but I mean, overall, your Thresh was pretty good there. But what was that change from that Blitzcrank to saying, you know what, don't really want to play that Blitz or no, you played Thresh game 1. I'm sorry, you played Thresh game 1, Nami game 2. How about I should say, did you not want to be picking the Blitzcrank or maybe even the Nautilus for the hook, or did you just thought that Thresh was just a better pick in all these games, and maybe Thresh is just a better champion in general?
I think Thresh is just a comfort champion for me. I think it is better into most matchups, and the way we play team fights, it works a lot. And yeah, I'll be hearing it a lot about that walking up multiple times on Thresh.
Well, you had some great hooks that game as well. You know, there's that hook you found onto the Kale in the top lane that I think led you guys into taking the Baron, if I recall correctly. And you had some great hooks during the laning phase as well. I had kind of a general question for anybody. You know, I was seeing this is about what the clowns decided to go for in that game number 3. You know, they went with the Smolder early as well as the Kale. I guess you guys had been banning out the Kale in the second phase there. So Super Saiyan really wanted to get his hands on the Kale for this third game. But it meant that they were really heavily invested in scaling with this with their first 3 picks there in that third draft. So just for anybody, what were your thoughts, you know, kind of seeing that, you know, them take that strategy, and you know, how did you how are you feeling, you know, with that in mind?
I can answer if none of you want to, I guess. That's all. Anyone want to? No?
Go get him, King.
Okay, yeah, like kind of Dario said as well. We knew that if we drafted like the Jacks with the Viego and stuff like that. Granted, I ended up inting the lane. Kale killed me after I had a pretty nice early game, but we knew that we could contest like all the grubs and dragons because they drafted Kale Smolder. It got a little dicey near the end, but once we like regrouped and like Kai said, like I yelled at him to stop walking in by himself to get vision, and we knew if we played front to back with Thresh, like Galio Pantheon had a really hard time getting onto them, and the way poke was a lot. And I think Daddy also mentioned, just to double down, like their side laning was like really bad. No one could really match Jax. Like Galio has to be with his team because he's the only front line, and I have 6 grubs, so I'm just gonna take turrets and do whatever I want. And my team like can't die because they don't have any hard engage. So it was just like, yeah, we saw that, and that was like our game plan, and at the end we executed it pretty well, I think. So
Definitely, yeah, it makes sense. Launches, you have one more question? You want to get in there?
Yeah, again, this is also for the entire team here. What were your thoughts during that game 2, right, of being so far maybe not so far behind, but definitely feeling behind by a lot, right? They're sieging your mid lane turret there. But again, having that 2 for 3 in that mid lane, it was it was to the side of Clown, but it was kind of that start right there that was able to snowball. What was your thought process during that? What were you guys thinking?
I can take this one, Duddy here. I think like for the most part, everyone on this team is super chill. The vibes are really good. As far as like our thoughts, like I don't even think anyone's like really overthinking. It's like, okay, we took a bad fight, we misplayed, like focus up and like we're always just thinking about the next, what are we doing the next few minutes? What are we setting up? What are the lane assignments? Like, are we fighting this next dragon? Blah blah blah. It's as far as like thoughts, we definitely had some bad fights. The Jax getting as Fezity did was probably a bit unlucky because he was very strong, but no one ever was like, I don't know, like doom and gloom or whatever. It's the same as games 1 and 3. It's just like, what do we need to do these next few minutes to win the game? And we focused up and were able to come out with the win.
Mm-hmm. Again, congratulations to all of y'all. Of course, you guys are the season 2 Winter Crusaders champions. You guys get to have that little trophy next to your name, right, for the coming days, the coming months, the coming years. And now you are, of course, wanting to defend your title. Will you guys be playing during the summer split to try and claim your title again, or are you guys moving to greater pastures?
This roster definitely won't be. We might have an Elysium team in here. Not sure. We probably will come back if it's still running, but this roster was just kind of like a for fun. We all had free time. Roster.
Well, not bad for a for fun roster.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like it worked out okay for you guys.
Sure.
But I think we just got to give it over for some shout outs now. So Naysayer will come to you first, or Sofa, as some people may know you.
Sure. Shout out you guys for your cast and the LXC production and stuff. Shout out my team putting up with me autofilled top and learning matchups every week on the fly. Shout out to Elysium. I think we had a bunch of people watch partying, and shout out to my wife, Queen Sticks. That's all I got.
Excellent, excellent. Duddy Brains, your shout outs, please.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to production and to the casters. That little graphic that you guys had at the end, I don't know when you guys put that together, but that thing was pretty sick, so appreciate that. And yeah, shout out to the team. Fun playing with Haya. I had never played with Watercat before either, so I had fun. So GG's, good season. Shout out to Humor and Resilient as well. My goats, they're on the other team, but GG's.
Love that wholesome shout out to the opponents in this one, and of course a very nice shout out to the production team here at LXC as well. Our graphics are top tier, so I'm glad you noticed, Duddy. Watercat, some shout outs from you if you could.
Yeah, I just want to shout out LXC, both staff and production. It was an eventful split. First time playing here, but I think I had a ton of fun. Streams were good. I want to shout out Caleb and Elysium. They rescued me from. I was actually playing on a different team week 1 that shall not be named, but they brought me on board, and I think that was definitely the correct decision. And lastly, I want to shout out the Syndicate org, Syndicate Reds, free hap.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. Yeah, so sounds like everything worked out for most everybody. We'll see about next season. Chaser, can we get some shout outs from you, please?
Sure. Shout out to obviously the LXC production and all you guys. That graphic was amazing, truly. And shout out to all of Elysium, the homies watching. And shout out to Rezi. That dude is goated. He played really well tonight and just happened to lose. So
somebody has to, right? You're always a winner and a loser.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Haya, last but not least, some shout outs, sir.
Shout outs everybody here in the call, all the Ellie fans. Shout out to CO. Yeah. GG's everyone.
Fantastic. GG's indeed. Yeah, congratulations again, guys, on being the Crusader Division champions. The split of the LXC, very well deserved. Thank you very much for stopping by again for this interview. Much appreciated.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Sure.
I don't know if you talked about it. Who's your finals MVP? Because we posted in our org for like accolades. Who's your finals MVP?
So, like of the whole match, like the match.
Like
MVP?
of the whole yeah, like MVP of the whole series.
Ooh, that's putting me on the spot here.
That's
no
a really
pressure, all
tough
here.
one. I kind of want to give it to.
I mean, I would say a Water Cat, just because some of those plays on Hui were pretty good. You did well on the Zoe there in those fights. Yeah, you did again. You did can have that little down period in that late early game, kind of the mid game, but you kind of turned it around. Really had those picks that you really needed with those bubbles and everything like that. And of course, game one, you just did pretty well on the Syndra right there, doing a lot of solo kills, really pushing the lead, getting the Cho'Gath very far behind. Still think that was not that great of a pick, but to each their own. But to be honest, for me, I think Watercat took home the MVP for tonight.
Launches, I think that's a solid vote. I think Watercat's a solid vote, especially the Wei performance here in Game 3. It was the Wei was instrumental in getting them that win in this third game. Did by far the most damage in the game. But I kind of, honestly, part of me wants to just give it to Chaser for holding it down on the Corki. Like, it wasn't flashy, but I felt like Chaser was really reliable in this one and was consistently holding his own in lane. We do have Soulkeeper casting a vote for Naysayer. Naysayer, definitely, you had a great series out tonight on the Rift as well. A lot of good votes, I think. I'm curious to hear the results of the poll in the end. I wonder.
Sorry to put you on the spot. Yeah, I was just wondering. Yeah.
No, all good, yeah. So we do have, official voting that we do here in the LXC for like players of each role that like are the MVPs of the entire season. But I don't know if we necessarily do anything explicitly for the finals. So I'm glad you asked, Naysayer. Good stuff.
I heard 3 people, so I'll give them all MVP in the Discord, no problem. That's how that works, right? So that's
Yeah.
how it works.
I mean, it takes a team, right? It's a 5-player game. You guys are all the MVPs in my heart, at least. Congratulations again on picking up the win. Very well done.
Oh, hell yeah.
And Launches, that's pretty much going to do it from us here. Did you have any final thoughts, any closing remarks you would like to leave us with as we close out this split of the LXC?
I mean, I would like to say again, congratulations to Chocolate Pancakes for coming in and, of course, being super dominant in the playoffs. But I still got to give a shout out to Clown Gaming. Again, they also came into this game 6-0. They had that early game lead in that game 2 as well. Almost came back in that game 3. So they didn't go out without a fight. So it was a very entertaining finals for me to cast, and I bet for the viewers to watch as well. So overall, I think it was a pretty good Crusaders League, all in all.
It was pretty good. I agree, Launches, and I feel like this finals was pretty good as well. I'm glad you were able to join me for it. It was a great time tonight. But that is going to do it for this season of the LXC, guys. Remember, our signups for next season, I believe I was hearing earlier, start in June. Voices in my head tell me I'm right on that or not. June, yes. So keep an eye out for that. For the summer split, that is going to do it for us from Winter. So for myself, from Launches, and Soul, the entire team at the LXC, thank you, everybody, very, very much for watching. We'll see you next season. Have a great night.